ready to work.
Welcome back to the Friday show. This is going to be damn intense because me and Matt just finished our pre-stream discussion and Matt said, okay, let's straight up talk about things. That is what we are going to do today.
Let's straight up talk about things. Unlike any stream prior before, we've never had things be talked about to this straightly.
Normally we bent down talk about stuff.
Yeah, we kind of flim-flam around things and kind of get to a point eventually at some period of time.
We, in fact, have got 17 discrete points in our show document.
We'll get through at least 5 of them before we run out of time, which is very, very perfect.
That's it. So we have, we've made plans, and it's going to be great. We've got lots of things to talk about, actually. That are good. And there we go. Well, before I run out of steam, how about we just go into the first topic,
yes,
which is the mystery of the rune. Where is the rune? What is the rune? What's going on? Is it, in fact, Kargath Blade Fists? I don't know why, for whatever reason,
Kargath Blade
I
Fist?
could not have said that in a more, dorky way. But... is it? Because there is another side to this whole thing where I saw people pointing out that if you look at Lords of War...
Oh my god.
Yeah, so...
We'll get to that.
Yeah, you may think that there is all wibbly-wobbly craziness with this.
Yeah.
Yes, there's what else. Oh, no, there we go. Yeah, the one thing is there.
Yeah, so...
This will be fun.
This icon could mean a lot of things, right? Obviously, we'll come back to the release time. We'll focus on the mysterious things, which are the color change, which we already talked about very briefly on Wednesday. Another icon, which we kind of were like, what's the icon? It looks like a hearthstone, a hearthstone or a house stone
looks
or a home stone.
One of those Swiss houses that are notably triangular.
Yes, and then Ellie goes, all right, well, it's actually on a map, and it's actually right over Northrend because the Broken Isles are peeking out in the corner here. Okay, well, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, so just as you're watching this, if you look at the rightmost image there, you can see the outline. So yeah, she kind of lined it up. That's what we're dealing with.
That's obviously that's kind of Old War up there, basically.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, that's an interesting place for that. What could that mean? Who knows?
And, people could just say, oh, they just found a texture and used the texture. But there are loads of textures that you could use for that paper asset that are not the map, but still look like parchment, right? Even when they're making something like that, it's not some flat file. It's going to be in Photoshop with all of its layers. Mm-hmm. So if they are putting something there, especially knowing that it's a roadmap and it will be looked at in detail by people, I think this is obviously teasing.
Yeah.
So you look at all of this.
Just what is the question?
Now you immediately look at that and think, it looks like a house. And the house is, it's got its little door.
There's a door, and there's the
triangular roof.
Rest of the house, it's imagine a wee, thatched cottage roof kind of thing going on, or a hole in a mountain that's your cave, not a square house with 4 windows like the children draw.
Absolutely. Cutting edge analysis. So they put that there, and you do immediately look at it and think, okay, well, housing's on our roadmap. Why is it on a roadmap before the expansion comes out, if this does refer to a house? And the obvious answer to that, and one that would allow for Q4 earnings, because, I mean, we all, of course, the reason why, we all celebrate everything on, you've got your Hanukkah and you've got your Christmas and all the other things, it's because we're celebrating Q4.
Yeah.
And that's why we celebrate it on the 25th, because we want that strong final spurt in the quarter, especially with the Boxing Day sales, so that we can save our society. I mean, that's why I do all the shit with the tree, right? So, think of that and you think, how do we make line go up? Obviously, you give people access to the player housing. You put
the big money maker
pre-order
over
bonus
here as a pre-order bonus, and then you get everything else. All of your finance results here are line up, and you don't get thrown out the window.
Exactly. Makes complete sense. And we do know that they have certainly got pressure to make World of Warcraft perform on that. Phil Spencer did actually say he is bullish on WoW.
He did, which is hilarious because I'm bearish on Phil. But, that's a different kettle of fish entirely, I think. We'll not talk about Xbox too much. Except when we will talk about Xbox, but that's for different reasons.
Which I suppose means, good job, Holly.
Yes,
you've got control of Spencer. Now you need to wield him to our will. Anyway, so all of those things seem to line up. You then look at this and think, why is that house over Northrend? Why is it over Northrend?
But Northrend's being in the Last Titan revamped.
Well, there you go. That's a little bit weird. So some people have looked at this and thought, oh, is this teasing that there's a homestead in Northrend, that it's something like that?
Yeah.
At least that's what was in my head. I'm not exactly sure.
Again, for balance. It could be that they went, we want a map texture for this banner, and that'll be fun. We have a thing, it's like a triangle. Northrend's like a triangle, it'll cover it up and it'll fit real nice, it'll look like an island on the thing. It could be telling us that our homes will be islands. It could also be telling us that. Because Northrend is an island, as well as Northrend. Obviously. It's not Northrend is an island, but is a continent an island? Is Northrend an island?
Well, I don't really think we understand currently the plate tectonics.
Yeah.
So, obviously we've got Warcraft Chronicle. What we really need is, Warcraft geology. Blizzard wants to get another product so that we can consume next product, hopefully, perhaps by Christmas 26, so we can celebrate Q4 properly. That would be fantastic.
That'd be great. I would sit around the fire, ignoring my family, to read World of Warcraft geology. Wonderful.
Good man.
Fantastic.
Or could it in fact be the Blade Fist clan? That's the ogres. That's the ogres.
Yeah, it's the ogres. Because the ogres have this, which is not the same at all.
Yes, it is actually different.
It's literally very different, but it is also just a triangle shape. It's just slightly, very, in fact, horrendously wrong. Completely not even remotely there.
I think it turns out...
the concept of someone saying it's WoD Remix because of a triangle is really funny.
I love it. Turns out, for all of human history, we've all drawn that cool S that everybody drew in primary school because it's an obvious way to make lines connect.
Yes.
Then the other thing is we can take a look at various different Hearthstones.
Yeah, they're all squiggly swirkles mostly, except for this one.
Yeah.
Which is different.
Fascinating.
Biting analysis. Oh, this one's the Kieran Tor symbol on it. God rest their souls. But a homestone. Could it be a homestone? Could it be... There's so many...
Homestone.
There's so many things that's genuinely kind of... What did they mean by this is a question we don't have an answer to. We've got a lot of potential answers, but none of them are dialed in enough to be the case. It could be I'm now leaning towards island homes because that'll let you get a lot of customization of your home in a bunch of ways.
Do you think they'd actually go that big? Give us the outside as well. You're thinking FF. Yeah. Yeah, okay. No, of course. I mean, of course it'd be the outside. The house has got an outside.
Yeah, I'm thinking you probably want to get closer to kind of Animal Crossing, or what was it, Dondogo Island? What was the island called in the Yakuza, in Like a Dragon? That island that had a big thing.
Yes.
Obviously it's not going to be all industrial, but I have a big feel like that thing is definitely an island home. That's my read.
Oh, of course, because Northrend could mean nothing, and the point there is just
it's an island on a map.
It's an island on a map.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling.
Oh my god, you've hit the obvious.
Yeah.
Well done.
I mean, I don't think it's that obvious, but I think it's more likely than the island on or home on Northrend if they're going to revamp it in expansion later. If you follow, at least that's what I'm thinking anyway. It's obviously very little to do with that, but also God knows maybe they just did it wrong. So that's one of the mysteries. One of the mysteries down is what's the icon, and we've just sorted it out. It's an island home. Obviously, you have
perfect.
It's player islanding.
Next mystery.
What's the green?
What's the green?
It's Legion Remix.
There we go. Done. Solved.
Very good.
That was a great segment. I loved our analysis. I think those were some of our best ideas.
Yes.
Our entire plan is look at the texture, look at the color, green. There you go. Yeah. Done. Sounds good.
It's not
Makes
even.
sense.
Yeah, it's the texture more than the color, but obviously the color. I immediately see what it is. Very specifically, I look at that specific. I don't know how well this is actually showing up on stream because of compression on YouTube and stuff, but there's like a gradation there that looks a little bit cliff facey in lighting wise, and it looks to me. It reminds me of the Demon Hunter ability Fell Eruption.
Oh, do you know what it reminds me of?
What?
Illidan's crystal. Illidan's big green crystal.
Oh, yeah.
At least more towards the right.
Yeah, over there. Yeah, this bit specifically to me, in my brain just goes Fell Eruption.
Yeah.
And that's where all the colors are. All the colors are.
So.
I see. Oh, I see.
Oh.
I see. Here's one thing. Apparently.
What does he see?
Apparently. People are saying that Ian, in one of the interviews, called that color Legion Green, and apparently, now we were very hyper focused on this being Northrend, but it could be that this is the remix symbol, the time bronze hearth, time magic sandy thing.
Could be,
and that this is actually the point that this we're supposed to look at is here, the Broken Isles bit, and that's a double 1-2. It's Legion.
A double tease.
Yeah, a tease. It's in two parts because it's a bit weird. I thought it was two quite distinctly, but it could be the one tease of Legion Remix. It could be nothing to do with the housing being on an island, but who knows?
But Matt, what about Q4?
What about Q4?
Either way, I'm happy, and I think this stuff is good news. Yeah. Okay, so we've solved the mysteries then, or are there any other mysteries?
No, those are the big mysteries.
Okay.
Those are the mysteries. There's the icon and the coloration. We do, however, have a roadmap to look at in general, because people have mapped it out.
Yeah,
it's
I think
kind
that's
of nuts.
Roughly the same maths that I did in the video that we published. I think what I did do is I took an extra 1 to 2 weeks for January because I know that they've got the 8-week timing. So I was just trying to make it be vaguely feasible. Anyway, this is also this is pretty good. Either way, you're just shifting the whole thing left or right by 1 or 2 weeks. So basically, December 17th, confirmed, new patch. This is saying January 7th for Plunderstorm.
Yes, and
very good. Actually,
because there's no source on this, I'm assuming
could be our own.
Our Dacor's made it based on all of this.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing. Very good. Very good. So yes, this is officially ours.
So Plunderstorm is currently listed as running January 21st to 24th on the PTR.
Yes.
Turbulent Timeways is listed as January 7th on the PTR, but we know that is going to start December 17th, which is 3 weeks earlier, so I think he's then shifting it backward. Yes. That will be really good. I would say, though, I would love to celebrate the end of Q4 by earning lots of plunder to spend in the plunder store. So, hey, if you could have that line up with the Christmas holidays, Blizzard, I'd be happy. Okay, after that, then we got patch 11.1, February the 11th, 2025. Yep, I'd say that's pretty much bang on. Could be a week or two later, don't exactly know, but that's when we're going to be getting the Undermined patch. Then 8 weeks after that, April the 8th is when we get the return of Horrific Visions. Very excited, and whatever the hell Nightfall is. Then 0.7, 8 weeks later, patch 11.2 at the end of July, which then teases up for Midnight to be revealed sometime. So, Dacor has late August, early September. The one event they would do that at is Gamescom, and Gamescom opening night live, I believe, is the 19th of August, 2025. and the
Is that
event.
confirmed already?
I did.
I know it's around those. It's always that like last period of time.
Generally they do get the dates out fairly early because a lot of companies will be booking their travel for their staff way in advance.
You're correct. Because Gamescom is 20th to 24th, which means ONL is 19th.
Because if you do not book your Gamescom accommodation early, you could basically end up paying for €350 a night for a Holiday Inn, which would not be good.
Sweet Mary.
Right. So I would imagine August 19th.
Yeah, it'll be the
opening
ONL.
Night Live.
They have this way.
And then a direct afterwards. The following day.
Yeah, that's most likely
like
because
I think XCOM. Wow, they're going to be at Gamescom too. We'll find out about the aliens. Xbox, I believe, do their own stream at Gamescom. I think they did last time.
Yeah.
So there's that. Then 11/25. Going to be the end of September, pretty much actually in line with season 1 of this of the War Within, right? Mm-hmm. Then 11/27, November 18th, Legion Remix, end of November, which kind of makes sense. Midnight pre-patch, February, Midnight expansion launch, March 10th, 2026, which would be exactly 16 weeks before the release of patch 10.2.7 on the War Within, which would basically suggest a similar cadence that would fit Blizzard's overall time span that has the whole sort of World Soul saga of expansions conclude, which means patch 12.3/12.2.7, whatever it ends up being, happening before 2030. We've worked it all out.
Yeah, so obviously it's worth saying that this is likely the same dates they have written down in pencil. I assume they have 17th down in pen. They're going to have maybe the January and February and maybe even April stuff down in pen. Obviously the Midnight reveal is going to be fixed. Yeah. Everything else I think is, at least I hope, everything is in pencil so they can push a week or push a couple weeks, because with 11.0.7 looking fine.
Holly accidentally used the Sharpie. Guess we'll have to ship it.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, obviously. So I think with 11.0.7 looking fine in terms of there's no big class changes coming in, so we're not going to have a big balance issue. Seriously, Circlet may be horribly balanced, but
no man, it'll be perfect.
That could be on PTR for 6 years and still ship unbalanced.
I have just bet $100,000 in Poly Market that it will be a well-balanced game feature.
Fantastic. Perfect. Excellent. So I think that we need to be careful not to too quickly forget 11.0.5 happened. I think they were there very quickly to go, and the next one's the PTR. Let's move on. And obviously the anniversary event was extra work in that patch that we didn't expect. Obviously there was a full ass extra raid in there. There's a lot of kind of different things happening. And I think that I hope that the rest are in pencil so we don't, because I wouldn't want to have this like grand plan for World of Warcraft's victory and them all just march ahead without worrying about it. I'd much rather them actually give more time for things if they need it and all that kind of stuff. But that's likely their plan as much as it is what we have here. It's that kind of 8 weeks. They have managed 8 weeks consistently, not to the best effect, obviously, but they've done it consistently. And if they're sticking to the 8 weeks, then obviously when it comes to our patch is kind of bad. What do we do with the next patch? What if we make it take longer? So we say 9 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever. They could just as easily say, no, 8 weeks. But we still have to make it work. So you pull the scope of the patch down a little bit, a small degree, just a tiny little bit, to kind of go, okay, well, maybe we'll bump, just like they actually did with 11.0.7 here, because they bumped back the profession respec thing.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, and that's a case of, well, do we push the patch to put this in? No, we just deliver it in the next patch. And I think that's the safer way of having fallbacks, because it's not really the issue. And yeah, that's a good comment on BRD being kind of botched because it was a terribly tuned raid. That's they're kind of botching it. They botched when they stepped out of line, realistically. I think that seems to be the general energy. This is as far as the image they're projecting to a degree, especially with how 7 looks kind of fine. and the way they're bombing ahead without stopping and going, oh shit, we have to change everything. Not that I'd expect that, but it seems like they're happy to suggest it's an outlier. So we'll have to keep our eyes open to make sure it is an outlier. So hopefully, if 11.07 goes fine and 11.1 launches in decent shape, then we can kind of go, okay, well, the plan is still good. It just takes us a little bit of working around to get the plan being good.
Yeah.
Being good. But that is the roadmap. Now,
okay, secret solved.
There's one small problem with this roadmap.
Oh dear.
And I think some people in chat noticed it. I don't know. I think you noticed it too.
I have streamer brain, but maybe I noticed it in the past.
Yeah, I think you may have noticed a small issue with this.
Yeah.
Something missing from 11.2.
Ah, yes. Let's move over to that.
Yeah, so 11.2, this is something we talked about quite a bit after the direct. We're like, where's the new zone? Are they shipping without a new zone 11.2? Is the new content Nightfall, is that somehow going to be our new zone? Is it a Hallowfall rework?
Is the war within a scam?
All the kind of stuff we talked about. And then I'm just assuming it's down here somewhere. Is it not?
It's the next thing.
Damn, it's the next thing. Okay, damn. I slightly got it wrong. But here we are. New zone is here.
Yes,
this is
confirmed.
The change. And this didn't replace anything. This was, the list got longer. So the version of the roadmap that they put up in the video and on the site originally and came through in the marketing email was all just said, no new zone.
They made a whoops. Like, it didn't say no new zone. It's just they forgot to put it there.
Yeah.
And I know that may seem insane, but you see when you've just got some, like, Photoshop or whatever document open, you become so blind to everything on that document. Anyone who, works in Photoshop, edits videos, you know what it's like. So
there is
it
actually
was a simple mistake.
Yeah, it was a simple mistake, and there is just like you said about maybe when you're doing things for marketing, you kind of throw stuff up, think about it too much, or you're kind of busy. That happens somewhere else, but we'll get to that later in the stream.
Oh, that's intrigue. So yeah, there is going to be a zone, and there's going to be a zone. Our assumption is the Rootlands zone. Now, there is a little bit of a moonshot idea, but the reason why I think Rootlands, it makes the most sense here is we've got Haranir in patch 11.0.7.
Yes, they are part of they're part of the Kieran Tor quest, as far as Ian's explanation was. I haven't actually done the quest. I think we may have detailed on it here a little bit, but they were in that in some degree. We saw in the direct, we saw Orwena, that in like the in-game cinematic model, communicating with the world souls and capacity and having some big vision or being surprised by something.
And look, Haranir are actually pretty damn cool in some of their in-game lore. We've done a whole video on that, and
a whole lore walking podcast.
And a whole podcast. Basically, it seems like the Haranir are they would be evolutionary cousins of the Night Elves, but fairly distant. So from my current reading of things, from what we understand, was it 20,000 years ago, a bunch of dark trolls, or is it 17,000? I forget exactly, but a bunch of dark trolls settle near the Well of Eternity. Well of Eternity's yummy magic gamer girl bathwater slowly turns them into Night Elves. And that's how Night Elves are a thing. And that's why Night Elves and Trolls, if you look at them, they actually have a few little similarities. So our current understanding of the lore is another group of Dark Trolls settled near Mount Hyjal. And when you actually look at Chronicle 1 has got a map that shows where the different troll tribes scattered to. And it's got one tribe of Dark Trolls at the Well of Eternity, another tribe of Dark Trolls at Mount Hyjal. So this actually would fit the Haranir perfectly into what Warcraft Chronicle Volume 1 established. So I think their lore there is pretty cool. They've been a little bit more light touch in the game right now. We see their storyline continue in this next patch. They're presumably going to be a little bit involved in some of the things in patch 11.1, but very obviously. Actually, 11.1 is going to have a decent amount to do with, I think, some of the Titan stuff. I'm thinking about the recent Archives quest line as well, like the lore we've got from that. Because, yes, we go to Undermine, but the press kit has got this, like, whole area that basically is a mystery flesh pit full of, like, messed up Titan architecture. So that makes me think that it's a very solid bet to say patch 11.2 is going to be the Rootlands. And in that case, Karesh is probably going to be in the Midnight expansion. If that ended up being the end of the Midnight expansion, that would be unbelievably cool.
It would also bring parallels to, we'll talk about Midnight a little bit later, but it would bring parallels to Argus and Legion, the best expansion they've ever had.
Yep.
Which a lot of people still believe, even though not everyone agrees. Everyone who disagrees is wrong. Anyway, here are the shots of Owen at the World Soul from Warcraft Direct. Now, we do know that this is very, very, very mild spoiler territory, but we weren't sure until we heard some data mine voice lines from 11.0.7 that we weren't sure if these were maybe Elune people, if the goddess they spoke of and the voices they kind of, maybe they were inspired by Elune, hence, because our framing was maybe these people were, these Hyronir were kind of on the evolutionary path to being night elves, and Elune was communing with them, and then she went, wait, shit, I need lads to go sort out these roots, defend them, go over there and do that for us. Cheers. And then give them more wild godly stuff. But it appears that they are more specifically Azeroth's guardians, and they follow her very specifically, hence all this World Soul stuff and a little bit of that. But they'll be there, and they'll be very, very, very interesting. Now, I think the one thing to say about the Rootlands, just in case you aren't aware, there were a case of leaks of varying agreeability, I'll say, or veracity, I'll say.
Well, this leak is entirely true, but completely disagreeable.
Yeah, so varying veracity, there was talk, or like on a map of the War Within zones before they had final names. I think it was like Halifal was called Arathor Caverns, which it is in some files and stuff at the minute. There was one that was worked on called the Rootlands, and that's nowhere in game whatsoever, but it seems to be the home of these people, and that's where that's
certainly, if you look into certain caverns and things, it kind of does look like the Rootlands is above Halifal.
Yeah.
Or maybe underneath.
To the side of it.
Yeah.
A wee bit, because you fly up, because you go through the Ruptured Lake in Halifal, trying to vaguely keep a sense of like height here. You go from the Ruptured Lake in Halifal down Dashka Head, and at the bottom of the Ruptured Lake there's the roots, and they're over around here-ish or so. Say the Priory's up like here. The roots are like up this direction. So it's almost kind of maybe depth-wise parallel to Halifal, but just way further on, or through some magic stuff or something.
I really hope somebody clips that, speeds it up, and turns that into a dance.
That would be very weird. That'd be very strange, but yes.
Expect Rootlands. Probably not just going to be green, though. If you take a look at, all of the breathing pit, all the big fleshy holes that are in Ashgahad, there's probably going to be a whole bunch of that. And it may even tie into some of the Coreway stuff, though I do wonder, not to get completely off topic in terms of lore, but I wonder if that World Core stuff is really just seeds being planted for the Last Titan.
Potentially.
I think it's probably that.
Potentially that, but just for context, I'll show you. Let me just confirm this actually functions. Yes, no it doesn't. That's the wrong thing entirely. Is that just not showing you the right browser window? That's useful. Very good. I love computers a lot with all of my heart and soul. So I do. Let me just fix that really quickly. Actually, you know what? It doesn't matter. You know what the breathing pit looks like. You know what the big holes.
They know.
You know what the flesh down the back of the City of Threads looks like. Sorry, City of Echoes.
We have a very flesh-aware audience. So that's the Rootlands, but there's other things in that patch. And I think that some of our previous speculations are not invalidated by this, because it still says season rewards refresh. That had us thinking, are there going to be new Mythic Plus rewards? Maybe an equivalent of a Gladiator mount? Is there going to be a new PvP reward track? Are they going to take the idea of the Delver's Journey and perhaps work that into Raid, work that into Mythic Plus? I hope so, right? I think there's obviously a lot of room, because the gearing experience of WoW feels good. Like, getting your character more powerful feels good, feels fairly actionable, right? Like, you know how you can just go and get gear. But some of the other ways in which a game can be rewarding, are not really there as much. So hopefully there's something going on there. The other thing then is Warband updates. We don't really know what that could be. Could be system updates, could be more Warband camp collections. That's one thing we do know is coming in the Undermine patch, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. And the other thing, which really got my head going, is open world challenges. Because previously they say world events, which are not challenges. Yeah, so what the hell is an open world challenge? I don't know. We will find out in 8 months or something. No, we'll find out in 5 months or 6 months because of PTR.
What?
No, we don't know. I mean, this is patch 11.2, which is going to be late June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's November.
It's November, man.
You're right. Yeah. You're right. You're correct. Yes. So the patch
you are
is
temporally disoriented.
Yeah. So the patch is about. I always get temporally disoriented in November, December. And did I dream that I talked to this in stream or not? But people have visualizations of what calendars are in their head. People will like spatially frame the months of the year, and this is like a known thing. It's like a research thing.
Whoa.
And people have different shapes in their head for what the year looks like, and mine technically doesn't work.
What?
Yeah. I have a. Okay, someone remembers this. Yeah, I remember. So I thought I told this.
Dream.
Yeah, it was a dream.
I love that.
Yeah, so my the calendar takes the shape of a rectangle in my head, but the rectangle doesn't add up because one side's shorter than the other, and it physically doesn't work. Which means I have a really scuffed sense of time over the length of the winter season.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's really weird. I can't remember what it's called, but I would suggest looking up calendar shapes.
Right. Well, at some point we'll need to fix Matt's bent rectangle. Dear me.
Yes, exactly.
So we don't know what this is. I'm not going to chew the fat on it too much, but let's hope they're trying to do something a little bit more interesting there. I mean, even just playing other video games, like running around the Elden Ring and things, it's nice to see, things can kill me in the world. And maybe the final sort of through line we can draw here is they have the Stormy version of the Siren Isle, which is full of elites, and it doesn't have flying. It's meant to be harder. I wonder if that's them trying to inject a little bit more challenge into the world, and maybe if they're trying to cook along similar lines or something like this.
That would track. I do have one person suggesting the Warband update could be more older reps becoming account wide.
That would be great.
Which is something we haven't seen any word of so far. So that would definitely track. That would track, especially with the lengths they're going to for reps and stuff in like the classic and anniversary event of like, just get all your old reps sorted through this time walk and stuff. That would really track if it was to be carried through in the future, because that is something they want to do and talked about. Just like, we did the War Within ones for now because obviously we have an expansion to ship. We can't make everything perfect first. So I think that's what we're looking at for our new zone. There's not too much to say outside of Rootlands, and maybe they're going to cook a little bit more.
That's it. Maybe we will get some delicious cooked root. Next then, Undermined. Blizzard have undermined World of Warcraft for good with patch 11.1, which is called Undermined. That, as T&E pointed out, brings back a really nice trend, which is more bespokely designed patch logos.
Yeah, there's an element of having just a little bit of soul to your patch.
A bit of spunk.
That you sit down and the artist goes, "Oh, can I do something really cool?" And you're like, "Yeah," and then everyone sees it and goes, "That's really cool," and everyone's happier.
And everyone's happier.
Yeah,
fantastic.
The more you get cool things, the more happy you are. That's just how life works.
It helps. Enough. You know what? It helps give it a bit of character.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you look at it and go,
that's
new. That's like, I really liked this one. I really liked it. I actually did like quite a few of them, but they are...
Oh, these are nice within the context of what they are.
Yeah, but, they are. Like this one is just, here's the Shadowlandy stuff here. It's fine. Here's that. Yeah, it's fine.
Wow, Shadowlands sucks. What a surprise.
Yeah, and there's, that like it's all nice within the context of, but it is a circle. This time they're like, what if we do way more cool?
Yeah, going back to Legion.
Way more cool.
In terms, though, of things that we can play and do. Right. Warband camp collections. We don't exactly know what these will be, but whenever you log into World of Warcraft, you will have your 4 favorite characters that are currently positioned in a jungle somewhere. Where is the jungle? Is it a jungle? Is it a forest? Where is it?
I'm pretty sure it's like a forest clearing.
Where?
I'm sure people have found out.
Okay, I've never known.
I think people actually did look for where it actually is in the world, or close to it.
Yeah, I want to know even what tile set it is. But anyway, right, so there's that. We'll be able to collect other ones. We do know at one point Blizzard showed off a mock-up where it was like Dragon Isles Titan architecture assets. Yeah. I imagine that this is, well, the best version of this.
Azure Span, people are saying.
Okay.
Azure Span, which completely works with the color of green and the color of soil there, yeah.
The best version of this would be decently customizable, Change the tents, change the campfire. I definitely doubt it'll be that. I've got to imagine this will be more... Well, in my head, the thing that makes sense is per expansion ones and then meta achievement ones.
That would be the cool one.
When I say meta achievement, I don't mean the full-on... You need to shackle your whole life and complete every single thing in the expansion. I don't mean those crazy meta achievements, but just stuff like if you get whatever zone achievement, get something in that zone as your camp. So the more of this, the merrier, I would basically say. I think this is a really cool type of collectible. And really, oh God, when I say the more the merrier, give me these for a dungeon or a raid or something. That would actually be kind of motivational. Look, if I got one of these that was set in Nerubar, I probably wouldn't use it because I'm not big spiders. I don't mean that in a, oh no, spiders. Architecture doesn't really do as much for me. But if you told me, say Antorus, you could go and, do Antorus and pick up the Antorus collection or the Antorus background for your login screen. That would be really sick, right? So I think this is just a really good type of evergreen reward. The more the merrier. I think they could cook with this pretty hard if they wanted to.
Yeah, I think for some kinds of players, it'd be hard to get a unified kind of theme across because some people play different races, different classes, things like that. But there's definitely certain people like me at times where now it's a little bit more diverse, but
I understand you want to be able to set up the Draenei orgy.
I wasn't gonna go with that one.
Whoops.
I was gonna go with
wrong type of WoW player.
I was gonna go with my Draenei sitting nicely in the Vindicar. Would be nice. That would be enjoyable, or something like that, or a bunch of night elves in Belameth would be enjoyable. I want to see my max level druids training low level druids in the background. Now, that kind of scene work would be genuinely insane.
That's way too custom. That would be insane. It would be great, but too custom.
Yeah, just like Frankenberry saying, I want my men to ride each other on the character screen. You're going to have to mod that in, to be honest with you.
Well, there you go. Something for the modding scene to do.
I want to ride my druid on my DK. That's... Sure. I think they call that self something, but...
Do you know there's one man who can fix all of this? Peter Yu. Because a lot of that you can actually set up in the Narcissus add-on.
Yes.
You may have to use a little bit of your imagination for some of the things that you want. But if you want to orient and position models in certain places, such as your druid and your warrior, it can be done. There are ways. Next then, though, to move on from that feature, we've got the Liberation of Undermine.
Will we kill Gallywix?
Yes. Please.
Yes, he's been around for too long.
Get rid of him.
He's been around for too long.
Now, I actually, just looking at this, right? I'm thinking of Mimiron, number one. I'm obviously thinking of the Motherlode, thinking of Mimiron. I think that the Goblin theme, with all of their technology, Siegecrafter Black Fuse and the Scorpion from Siege of Orgrimmar, let's go. I think about all of that. Oh my god, remember when you're doing the Siegecrafter Black Fuse and then you get yoked onto the flipping assembly line, you gotta run to the other end of the assembly line? Oh my god, 2014, what a time. Mob Classics coming out, yay. Anyway, I think the Goblins lend themselves to raid mechanics really well. You've got your layers you've got your technology, your conveyor belts, in the same way, the Iron Horde. Of course, the Iron Horde had loads of Goblin technology. You get, I know for a lot of people, Operator Throgar, which was the train raid boss, for some people, there wasn't really randomness to it, so it was just a very boring dance fight. But I would say that the fantasy of it is important. So
more important than the mechanics half the time.
Yeah, so Operator Throgar may have been simple in some ways, and people would have just been like, oh, I don't care that it's a train, it's just a different type of void zone that I don't stand in. No, I think the fantasy really
those
matters.
people are soulless and need to fix their lives.
I mean, it would be great to be one of them because you could just download
wouldn't.
Aim Trainer and then you wouldn't need to buy a single FPS ever again. So I actually am kind of down for this. Even just seeing we got a big mech.
Yeah, I really
Tyrannosaurus.
love you've got the dinosaur versus gorilla, which is interesting because it sparks back memories of BFA.
Oh my god.
Remember the Kajimite gorilla that was intelligent
Gojira.
and was sad, yeah.
It's Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah,
No!
yeah, it is. So like a raid being these two bosses that are fighting each other while you're doing stuff here is it's going to be such a fun idea. This guy looks like he's drifting. Which
More on that later.
Yeah, more on that later. That'll be very, very, very interesting to actually play around. And I think that it being called The Liberation of Undermine is so good. I love the more description you can get in the titles, the more things you kind of go, okay, well, here's context for being in the raid.
Do you know what I'd say?
What?
It's about it being active.
Yeah,
you know the way
it's
you've
a
got,
verb.
like,
It's a verb.
Yeah,
Well-
you've got active voice and passive voice.
Yeah.
When you think about really good raids, like Siege or Battle for Dazarlor, that was a really cool raid because it felt so motivated.
It wasn't just Desire Lore.
Yeah, it wasn't just that's the enemies. I mean, this is literally we're going to go into his house and kill him. But you know the way a raid can sometimes just be
Liberation, or as I call it, murder.
the boss lives over there. Go into his house and kill him. If in this case, you know, we're fighting through the streets and then we fight our way into, for some reason, the image of the raid on Saddam Hussein's house from Hot Shots Part 2 is in my head. A classic movie. Charlie Sheen art house banger. Yeah, for whatever reason, I think it's better for a raid thing.
Yeah, I like that. I know Ian said he would rather it's too wordy and generic, but calling it the Gladium, like, no, sorry. Incorrect. Liberation implies so much to it.
There you go. Matt versus Ian Bates, the fight of the century.
Yeah, it would be a little bit like Mike Tyson versus Logan Paul, to be honest. I can't. I'm not going to watch that fight, but I'm going to see the results and think it's very funny. If it goes away, I think it will. Anyway, yes, now it's time to fire Gallywix's pride event at long last. We can fire it. Sadly, it went underground, so I don't think we can shoot his own place with it.
Oh, I love it. Do a raid to kill a Horde faction leader.
He's not a Horde faction leader. He was until he was booted out for being a dickhead, basically.
To be honest, I never felt that Gallywix made sense as a Horde faction leader. He didn't mesh with any of the Horde values, and
that's why he was ousted.
I never actually liked how the goblins were integrated in Cataclysm.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Cataclysm was a total narrative shit show. It was a tonal shit show as well. And I think World of Warcraft storytelling got really confused when it just, like, it turned from people are being, I mean, yes, there's jokes in WoW, but like with Vanilla, TBC, and Wrath, being actually a bit self-serious about the world with a few jokes to just...
Oop-de-oop-de.
Now they have all turned from ambitious creatives into dads who want to make jokes. That's what the transition from Wrath to Kata felt like to me. And I think...
the kind of being satisfied on top of the world kind of vibe came through a lot there.
Yeah.
Very hubristic writing, I think. In a bunch of ways. Even like the goblins specifically, I think. There's a reason Ian went to such lengths to talk about how, we're going to actually learn about the goblins and learn more about their culture and society and what they're capable of. I think was very, very welcome to a lot of people, because otherwise the problem with them is that they are kind of Flanderized. They're just, and what are they? Haha, explosions. Haha, New York accents. Haha, money. And you're like, okay, cool. I think it's maybe a little preachy in the short story before the Goblin Way. I think that one's a little bit preachy in terms of, we should love the environment and stuff, which is obviously like the theme matches. It's just the presentation was a wee bit harsh. I think that seeing how this goes down here will be a lot better. I think with the liberation of Undermine being like, because obviously remember they were all literally Gallywix's slaves. He kind of tricked them into being slaves at the end of Kazan. That's how that actually went down. That's how they all managed to get away. So that I think works really well. That they're going to do that. And they're going to do that in a fun way by letting us actually pick, it seems, a cartel.
Yeah.
Which one you align yourself with is up to you. I think that is genuinely excellent. A little bit of Steamweedle, Blackwater, Bilgewater, and the Venture Company.
Being able to align. Oh,
Venture Company.
I kind of want to align with them. I'll definitely have a character that aligns with them.
Yes, so this is where I want to take a very, 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 very small kind of thing about it and talk about them. Because we've got the Steamweedle, obviously that's Maranaga fuckers.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the Blackwater Cartel, they were the Blackwater Raiders. They were a part of the Steamweedle, now they're a cartel in their own. I think that was the Renzik the Shivs crew, I think. I can't fully remember. There's a Bilgewater Cartel, which was obviously, that's Monty's. Monty Gaslow and his Grease Monkeys do that. The Venture Company, who's run by Yes?
Yes?
It was Razdunk, and he became giant and died.
What was that?
Was Razdunk the one in... Oh my god, what's it called? Am I confusing this? Was Razdunk the one in Stonecore, or is he someone else?
A Steam Warrior is the founder and ruler of the Venture Company. Was the leader.
He's dead.
Company.
He's dead.
Died in the Motherlode.
The Motherlode, that's what it was. Yes.
And their main leader is currently confirmed to be unknown.
Yep. So who's that going to be? Is the question. We don't know. The only one that's not tied to any of these is, I think it's Revelgaz, and he's kind of a outlier, I think. So it's hard to know, but here are our characters. He did say and more, and then showed a picture of a goblin we don't know. And I thought, oh, that must be Jenny Boombuckle. And then I looked at it, oh, it's not Jenny. Oh, shit. But I think that Jenny Boombuckle being the character that we met in Ashgahet.
I hope
met.
she dies because her buckle explodes.
That will be really funny.
There's something about like fantasy names. You know, my name was I was born as Michael Microphone Speaker.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So yeah, you're right pointing out that Goldie Baronbottom was doing stuff for the Venture Company, and then we unceremoniously ended her career, among other things, in the Cinderbrew Meadery, which is then kind of, I think the story of the Venture Company is going to be the story we get of the redemption, because we align ourselves with the Venture Company, and this doesn't appear to be we pick one and fight the other three. Yeah. It appears to be we pick one and further their goals in some capacity.
Hey, if you give me the plot line, hey Michael, you're going to save capitalism. Oh, let's go!
Yeah, I think that's probably the case where,
we will. That me and the Venture Company are going to go to war with those damn red gnomes.
Yeah,
can't wait.
Of course. Gaslow's going to, whatever Boombuckle maybe come up from the bottom, inspired by Gaslow, take over the Venture Company. Will help her. We'll install her as a leader, and they'll be like changed in that way for the better. Which will be very, very, very fun. I think it looks like a cool zone. I'm gonna be interested in getting around it, obviously, because it looks quite nice. Seeing all of the ability they'll have to put cool things in, because it's an actual city with a lot of the kind of historical stuff. There's no mention of Kajamat in any way, which is going to be fun if they build that up. But I think we're going to have a little bit of almost like a Mechagonny moment where we get to see an awful lot of cool technology in the setting for a change compared to other things. But then there's when we have the other thing down here, which is the other part of the patch is...
What's he collecting in that cup?
Nothing. It's just a big cool thing. But this looks... Okay, well, what's this got to do with Undermine or the goblins or anything like that? Oh, it's got that to do with it.
Oh my god, is this some resource extraction?
This appears to be... There was a Kajamite Cola in the 11.0.7 patch scenes. You're correct. There was a Kajamite Cola in one of them, and there's an empty can you bring and take to an NPC, which is all leading towards the same thing. But, yes, so there's a goblin building here. And it's probably on the periphery of Undermine in some capacity, but it's doing stuff to this. So what is Gallywix doing with the Black Blood? Because he's going to be gathering it up.
Oh, so remember, Xalatath is connected somehow. I wonder if they'll do anything with the Tazoesh thing. Maybe that was a plan. Maybe they're just going to flip and kill it now. Of course, there's the Dark Fuse, which we remember the Dark Fuse from the Ringing Deeps. And Xalatath's generally her MO is to give somebody actually what they want. Yeah. Then there's usually some sort of monkey paw curling involved.
Big time. That was her whole MO with basically every character so far was, oh, you have a problem? I will solve it. Oh, ironic consequence. Uh-oh. What? Uh-oh, the Ringing Deep's awakening machine turned out Scarton. Bet you didn't see that coming, Eric. Oh, what's that answer, Ek? Your army belonged to me and they betrayed you the last second. Uh-oh, bet you never saw that one coming. Did you ever hear of you know what? World of Warcraft characters should all really read Faust.
They should.
They should go through that and go...
That doesn't exist in World of Warcraft.
That's the problem. Yeah, that's a problem. Okay, we should...
We need to bring the real world into Azeroth, Matt.
Yeah. Oh my god, what's
Don't
this?
say that too loudly.
What's the song? I cannot... What's the name of the song with the violin battle against the devil? I can't remember the name of the song.
But that.
It's that, but that's the American version where, oh, what's that, a deal with the devil? And we win anyway because we're so cool. God, Americans are amazing. In very strange ways.
Good. Well, now that Matt has played to our base...
The devil went down to Georgia, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the devil went down to Georgia looking for a soul to steal, and then he got wrecked by a guy. That's the story.
Oh, that reminds me of a really good haunted house from the 2023 Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando. Anyway, Delves, Matt, our next topic. Technically, Blizzard have done a humongous, massive lie from which they will never recover.
Disgusting.
Yes, Bran is sticking around. He is going to be our Delve companion, it seems, for the whole time. Initially, it seemed that Blizzard wanted to change that around. I think they have probably realized as the feature has evolved, there's a player relationship with Bran in a way. Like, there's familiarity. Their whole, reward schema with this system it's all set up around Bran and the Explorer people. It would probably be quite a heavy lift to just retheme that for every single season. And it also means that your progress with Bran so far in terms of your curios, well, those sort of get to continue. I mean, yes, you could swap the curios around, but just think about all the work that they've done. They get to keep that. The other thing that will change is Bran will be able to tank. We found out about that in an interview, so I think some people will be very happy about that. Certainly, I can see that just making for a far more comfortable gameplay experience, let's just say. As for things that are new, though, in Season 2, what is interesting is this stuff is not confirmed for Season 3 in the roadmap. But the Season 2 roadmap did say new delves, so I don't really know what Blizzard have got planned there. Maybe they just haven't locked things in. Maybe they don't want to commit to things because they want to see how Season 2 goes first.
That would work, yeah. That would work.
Yeah, they did say that it was very much a, ship it live, see how players react. So what was announced then is we've got 2 new delves. We're getting variations of existing delves, so that probably is just more variations in line with what we've currently got. Maybe a question will there be anything seasonal towards that? Because if they add more variations, but there's already plenty of variations, maybe you won't see the new ones. I don't really know exactly.
Yeah, I know there was some issues with the randomization of them. I think someone complained a couple of weeks ago, maybe that one was they're trying to get the achievement done for all of them.
Yeah.
And one was the same one 4 or 5 days in a row. They're like, is this broken or is it just rolling really badly? What's going on? This is a nightmare.
Yeah, I found similar. There's going to be a new Zekvir level sort of big bad.
That'll be fun.
Goblin-inspired curios for Bran. And that's basically that. So
Bran
they have...
just blows up randomly. Just, oops, sorry.
They have went against the older thing.
Yes.
If they still wanted to keep it within the League of Explorers, you could go with Elise, Finley, Reno, Harrison, Rexar, or maybe Gazlo or some. Well, for other characters, Harrison, Rexar, and Gazlo. But I'm fine with them keeping Bran. Honestly, Bran's became so much of a living meme character that I think it's good to keep him around.
Yeah, I think that's where they're going to have the benefit, and not just on that front, but there's the other angle to consider, which is balance and tuning.
Yes.
I think his actual behavior now. His code could be copied, obviously, but I think with his ability specifically, they've got him into a place where they can actually balance him, and throwing someone else into that, I think they know would go, well, we need to reduce risk as much as possible for the next season of Delves. We don't know if they're going to change any of the reward structure or anything like that, or how much reward, or how
that's what I really want to know
loot.
About. Yeah. So I think the seasonal journey, definitely they need to think about that a little bit more. I don't think it's super motivating or rewarding right now. And I think they absolutely need to rethink gear. I would actually be happy if a tier 8 bountiful gave worse gear than it does today in the Great Vault. If that came with maybe 9 or maybe tier 10 having better gear. So I want Delves to give us overall better gear from harder content. I think tier 9, 10, and 11 are basically wasted right now. There's certainly some things in Delves that wouldn't be fun to do in a higher tier, just because a few of the variation mechanics can be a little bit annoying. Looking at you, poison mushrooms from Fungal Folly. What the hell's the deal with those? You know, when you gotta cleanse them and you just walk around and...
Oh, yeah.
Those are the worst.
Those are clearly underdone a little bit, yeah.
But
yeah,
I definitely want to see them rethink some of that stuff. There's definitely a question about Gilded Crests and the bounty maps, just because you can sort of get Gilded Crests from the bounty map things, but it's so little. And
unreliable.
Yeah. So I can understand the bounty maps that you get as a little, sprinkle of random variable reward, but it does feel extremely rare, extremely random, and because it's tied to your character gear, when it ends up being a blocker to your progress temporarily, because yes, the vault still is the thing with the best gear, I just don't think it works as well. So, big questions for them to ask.
Yeah, big questions that may or may not be in some degree answered, which I was hoping Michael will go for a little second so I could fix our browser display, but it's fine. We're all good. Just because I checked our Discord and we have some eyes better clicks.
We have some breaking news.
Yeah, we've got a new series of interviews have come up on MMO Champion. So let me just...
Champion still exists. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's posted there. It's not from, and they didn't do the interview, but it's posted here. Let me just get it up for you. 1 moment. Is that going to function? There it is. Manage your privacy, please. How about manage fuck off? Fantastic.
I can see here with Windows Central.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go through that
Business
then.
Black Friday. I love advertisements.
So overall, the war within's going well. The team is looking to smooth out pain points in some dungeons, as well as look at class balance. Yeah, may want to get on that. Okay, Delves.
Yes, here we go.
Players hit level 8 Delves and earn powerful rewards, making them feel like there's no point in doing anything below Mythic 7, which is already fairly hard. Mythic 7 isn't the best entry point for new players, so some are hitting a cliff wall instead of doing earlier Mythic Plus tiers. The Mythic Plus crest gearing system meets almost all the team's design goals, except for clarity and intuitiveness.
Yep.
Which are the big ones for the players. The team wants to fix the names and add some tutorialization. It should be logical what to do with crests. Yeah, I think the whole... Valor points and Justice points. One is blue, one is purple. That just made a lot of sense to people. I think some people, they're like... What is a carved Harbinger's crest, stone, crest box, crest signal? What's going on? Help. You just throw so many words at somebody. It's like you're a new Destiny player and you're just absolutely, waterboarded with proper nouns.
Yeah, I think it's almost all the design goals except for clarity and intuitiveness. I think that the one issue that kind of continually frustrates me with them is part of the design goal they solve, right?
Oh.
So I think fixing the names, add some tutorialization. They already have tutorials. I think one of the struggles they really have more than anything else is crafting items and how they relate in terms of cost and in terms of getting them, in terms of availability.
A lot of players straight up do not like working with the new crafting system.
Yeah, I think the crafting system in terms of how it interacts with gear should probably go, at least in the higher end of this tier.
I agree. I think what I've noticed is crafting's really fun when you're just doing it yourself and progressing for the sake of the crafting. I think we need to go more along those lines and work out other things for crafting to do than just the power loop of the game. Anyway, go on ahead.
Yes, the other thing that I think is frustrating with them is how much they're, how to put it, you can use them wrong. You can use them extremely ineffectively. It's kind of the problem I have. Yeah, your crests, yeah. And I think it's down to, that's like the point, right? The point of the system is you earn what's supposed to feel like backup progress, but it's also actual progress. So, like as Dakar points out in chat, there's no point in using a gilded crest on a hero item until you get a myth item.
Yeah.
And it's all those little tiny things of, you can do this wrong, you can mess this up, you can make mistakes, you can make permanent mistakes that will put your progress back, not by very long, by a week at most, effectively, right? But it's that fear, it's that I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
There's so much complexity in how the system actually interacts.
It's mental fuzziness, but it's a fuzziness that's not warm and cuddly. It's a fuzziness that's like asbestos, where you zoom in on it and it's actually really jagged and scary, where I think people, they don't even know it's going to be a week or two, but they just think about it and they're like, oh dear, my working memory has now been full. I'm going to put that down and not engage. Which, I mean, it's a game. You maybe... Because it's often so easy for, whenever you're playing this game every single day and you know absolutely everything about it, to be like, oh, people just don't understand because they're just, don't fucking pay attention. All the information's there on the internet. But bro could be a nuclear physicist in day life. And maybe the reason why they're going to play some World of Warcraft is because they've just done their nuclear physics for the day and they will like to chill and they don't want to think about their crests.
Yeah,
That's actually... I'm not going to go on a tirade, but that is a way bigger point in my head. Actually, God, it comes from a quote from Tony Blair of just politicians not understanding that the public does not think about them or their flipping policies. So, as a politician, you really need to focus on, like, the rare times they do actually think about you. Try to make it in your terms. Sensible. And it's just that idea of other people are, like, entirely... full humans. They're not just like tiny little, one CPU cycle things that exist in your personal simulation. And whenever we're designing systems like this and we're getting like really, nerdy into the details, you forget that the other person, my joke of nuclear physicist, but maybe they've also, say, been digging foundations for an entire day and your body's just fucking tired.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have to grapple with all of that. So... Totally.
Yeah, it's I don't know if there's a particularly like fix with that. I think obviously like a way to refund things you spent later in a kind of, okay, well, now you get an upgrade, but then that makes upgrades not feel good. So they are a little bit of the stuck between a rock and a hard place of where is progression in the system coming from? And their answer is kind of, it's kind of, we want gear to feel better than crests, but we don't want to lock you to needing gear. Realistically, and I think it works in the experience. Like when you throw away giving a shit about min-maxing, and I don't mean this in a just don't worry about it, bro. I mean like it's a personal thing. You have to kind of take that kind of well, I don't give a shit, and that's maybe a fault on their end where they're like, oh well, our player's not fully engaging with our system, and they're having a better time when they go, this is too bullshit for me. I'll just play the game and get my gear. Because I was frustrated by it. And I ended up kind of disconnecting from wanting any better gear until I just got it all from getting gear in raid. And then I would go every like 2 weeks and go and spend all my crests and go, oh look, I'm maxed out now, whatever. But obviously I know that's not the experience people have, and the experience they need to make sure is good is people go, oh, here's a gearing system. How do I want to engage with this? Yeah. I don't want to shy away from it because I'm afraid of making a mistake. I want to go in and go, fucking give me my good shit. Yeah, let's go. I got this. Yeah, I'm so excited. Some of that might be Valorstone changes.
Playing a bit of Elden Ring when you go to upgrade I went to upgrade my weapon for the first time and I needed both runes and a smithing stone. And I guess that's the current idea that they've got here.
Yeah, like it works in theory, it works in essence, and in every way it's kind of there.
It's a different game.
Yeah, so I agree with them going, it fits almost all the design goals. I just think there's a little bit of finessing to do in terms of the balance between currencies and also the, like, I guess the difference between getting gear as a reward and getting crests as a reward. Yeah. Even if there's some way to, like, I don't even know if the refund would work because that would kind of make things feel weird, but something along the lines of making it feel like if you put a crest in, you don't feel like an asshole if you get it dropped the same day, which is one of the ultimate problems with it.
Yeah, and one thing that could fix that as some form of scrapper, but the second you add something like a scrapper, it solves a player problem, but it introduces a crazy amount of potential complexity.
Yeah, you want to reduce complexity to improve the system, not add complexity. It's already too complex.
There's an easy way to do that. I think they need to, at least from the hero level onward, stop having crosstalk between tiers of difficulty.
Yeah, nothing annoys me more than having hero 4 out of 6.
Yeah, big 4 out of 6, Andy.
Yeah, and going, well, how do I solve this? I play content that I don't want to play. Shit, I don't want to do that. Or I wait and get my free crest, my free gildeds.
Yeah.
For doing the end heroic tier bosses.
And whenever, have it so that I can get 6 out of 6 hero with whatever my normal crests. I was about to say Drake crest. No, they're not Drake worm crests. Oh, that's actually the problem. What type of Harbinger crest am I talking about?
It's even stones.
Stones, crests, bones.
You want to call them flight stones. And you want to call them Valor stones, but you don't want to call them Valor, and you don't want to call them stones. You're like,
It's like ideally you'd want to call them like fuel, and then something that makes sense for an upgrade. So it's like, I want to do this thing, and I've got this much fuel, because that's what the stones on. Or like you want something where it is inherently the name inherently explains what they are and what they do, I suppose. So even if you think about. The reason why I say that, right?
Yeah.
You want it to be intuitive. Because if you give somebody a Valor Stone and you give them a crest, I don't know about you, but in my daily life, I don't have any Valor Stones and I don't have any crests. They're completely made up. I have no idea what they are. Whereas...
I don't know. I fully agree. I get where you're coming from, but this is also fantasy world. You can't turn and go, you've got... Valor fuel and and engine enhancers.
I'm not being like that. No.
It's like
it needs to fit in universe.
Using the real world comparisons, I think a bit awkward. It's going to be difficult to find something that's an upgrader without calling it your upgrader stone. You've got a Valor upgrader.
Well, they need some sort of idea like that. Or Valor stones and Justice stones. Imagine picking up a rock. This is a rock of justice, but this is a rock of valor.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing. They wanted it to feel grounded in like an actual item, so they called them flight stones. Like, okay, these exist in the world as opposed to an abstraction on your currency bar. So it's just, I think the issue they had with stones was they were flight stones and now Valor stones.
You're just being drowned in objects.
It's not even just that. It's that the common name is stones. And you're like, well, that's a shit name for a common thing.
Yeah.
Flight stones works. Valor stones works. But if you've experienced both, you have to shard them to stones. Now you're like, I've got stones? What?
I can't wait.
What, like in your shoes? Like what?
We go to patch 11.1 and they're like just called money stones.
Like they'll be called Valor stones again because they've changed it so they'll be Valor stones going forward. That works. So it's like crests being not in 12 different forms with like enchanted, runed, harbinger, nascent crest of power. I don't know. You know what I mean? There's some fixes there. I don't know what I would call them, but yeah.
I think you should just go with like... There's a bit of me that almost says you turn this from 5 currencies into 3 currencies. And you've got one that's your newbie currency. Then you've got your normal mode currency, your heroic mode currency, and then mythic is just top. That's it.
Yeah.
And then what you do though is you don't have them be the way they are right now. It's just 3 currencies like Valor Stones. Do content, get the currency just like Valor points and Justice points, upgrade your gear. That's it, simple. And you just cut the top off it because you don't really need the top. And if you're doing the best content, it's probably cool. That gives you the best gear. Anyway, kind of a side point. There's other stuff to talk about today. There wasn't really much about delves in that other than they seem to understand where the issue is. But I'm not seeing any movement in the idea that delves should have content that's harder than an 8. And I guess what frustrates me, and again, this could just be the summary, so I don't want to blame Windows Central.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But Blizzard, you've almost answered your own question there. The only reason why somebody's going from an 8 delve into a Mythic 7 is because they can't do anything in a 9 delve. And I'm damn sure that a 8 delve prepares somebody better for a 9 delve than it prepares them for a Mythic Plus dungeon. Obvious thing is actually use all the difficulty modes you've made. It's a video game. Let us play it instead of having some fear-based, developer reason.
They have a whole crosstalk situation with difficulty levels.
Really
that's gonna be a real difficult one to fix, and I wish them all the best, honestly.
Well, I have an easy thing to fix. Once more, I have drank too many caffeinated beverages, followed up by too many beverages because I'm very thirsty. So I'm going to leave you. with not dead air. I'm going to leave you with a topic.
Oh no!
Have Blizzard just killed Mythic Dungeons?
Have Blizzard killed Mythic Dungeons?
I meant to say Mega Dungeons. Have they just killed Mega Dungeons for good?
They have not. So have Blizzard killed Mega Dungeons for good? It's a very interesting question. I think the answer is not for good. Why would you ever say that, you absolute lunatic? No, but it is the thing, because we're used to Mega Dungeons, right? We've had a couple expansions in a row now. It's been Mega Dungeons. We don't get new dungeons. They make the dungeons at the start of the expansion, and then they spend the rest of the time fixing it. Then they make a Mega Dungeon. This time around, we're getting 2 dungeons. First of all, we've got Operation Floodgate coming in 11.1. This is, the Undermine stuff. Goblins are going to blow up a dam that will bring ruin to the Ring of Deeps. Obviously, the dam, you've been here. Depends, these could be, Gallywixes. They could be Venture Company. Ian just answered this question in a T&E interview. We'll have to look at that once there's some sort of... If you've got details, because we can't pull up the video and obviously watch the minute. So it's there's no Mega Dungeon in the 11.1.5 because in 11.1 we've got a dungeon. On 11.2 we've also got a dungeon, which kind of does mean, have they given us a Mega Dungeon, which is traditionally 2 dungeons jammed together in one theme, one story thing? How they just went, we'll give them in different forms. It's interesting because I don't know, I really, really like the Mega Dungeons, but I think I might like having more dungeons more regularly better. I almost wish I'd love to say, can we have all of them, please? But then, you can ask for a little bit too much content, and then it all goes to shit. But this is very immediately. It's a mini Mega Dungeon. Yeah, that's it. We've figured it out, Michael. They haven't killed Mega Dungeons. They've just given us mini Mega Dungeons instead.
We've reinvented the dungeon. Incredible.
Yes, we have. We have basically we have 2 regular dungeons instead of a Mega Dungeon. It seems to be the case. Unless there's just some plans they don't have. I don't know. But yes, so obviously the dungeon pool is basically kind of guaranteed. We've got the ones we didn't have from Season 1. And then we have the Motherlode and Floodgate, which means 2 more. Which means we're only going to have 3 returning dungeons from the rotation instead of 4. Massive.
The ratio of new game is higher. And I guess another reason why this makes sense is because... How did they... No more thoughts. It's fine. I was going to talk about Mega Dungeons and the Mythic Plus rotation, but
good question. How did they? I'd love to know how they did.
What?
You said how did they, and then stopped. I was like, yeah. Did they? How did they?
I was trying to remember what the Season 3 rotation was in Dragonflight.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, I think this makes more sense. That being said, I think they have larger fish to fry on the dungeon topic.
They certainly do.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a video in 2 weeks, but it's certainly... it's abundantly clear that something needs to give.
Yeah, there's something needs to be solved with Mythic Plus as a whole. And that ties into what we were talking about slightly earlier with, delve difficulty crosstalk and all those kind of things happening. And player tutorialization and new players and gameplay balance and gameplay design, heal design and tank design and everything. It's just, it's all over the place, and best luck to them.
Yeah, I guess some of the trouble in working that out with Mythic Plus Dungeons is it's not just the dungeon system. It's not just the challenger's peril is a little too punitive.
Yeah, it's a full game problem, yeah.
Yeah, because it's how do tanks work in World of Warcraft? How powerful are tanks? How weak are tanks? How multi-tool? Are tanks multi-tools, or do they just tank? What about defensives? How strong are they? Oh my god, it's absolutely
What if healers did everything?
What if healers do everything?
They'll love that, won't they? They'll have loads of fun and will continue to play our game. Yeah.
Ah, boy. Yeah. Okay, so with that said...
Real gameplay for a change. None of this combat bullshit that no one cares about in any video game ever. People care about the real things. People care about drifting.
Oh yeah, that's what we were actually doing, talking about the new patch. Yeah, right, I am so goddamn here for this. I think this is absolutely brilliant. And there's a lot of people who just be like, oh, it's not flying.
I will personally dropkick them out of a window that's
fantastic,
just high enough to be reasonable.
And I will make the completely unreasonable comparison of play Mario 64 with no clip turned on. Now it's longer a game. That's an unreasonable comparison.
Yeah, because
WoW's not a platformer.
Because you just fall to the death plane immediately and die because you no clip the ground. Okay.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yes, yes. So movement is important. I think that's the biggest thing that you'll learn if you're playing an awful lot of video games along the time. Video games with good movement are good video games.
Yeah.
Video games with bad movement are bad video games. That's why most modern video games are bad, because they have wrong animations and bad movement. That's why you play. Yeah.
Grappling hooks. Just for a period of time, every game had a grapple hook because they were fun.
Yeah, there's a reason that Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Edition is basically one of the highest selling games of all time, because driving fun, drifting fun, go fast, go slow. Oh no, I fell off. Oh no, I hit. Brilliant. Like basically as close to perfect as you can get.
Yeah, I mean, imagine what a dragon riding race would be like with the old flight system.
Yeah,
it would just be pointed circle, pointed other circle, pointed other circle. Completely boring.
You'd be playing 3D connect the dots like.
Yeah, exactly. So what we've got here is kind of interesting because it's Blizzard having to develop a completely different way in which ground movement works in World of Warcraft. Because in a game like WoW, it's just whenever you hit the W key, your character moves forward at run speed. There is no complex calculation or anything like that. It's just character go forward.
2.5 yards per second.
That's it. Whereas here, well, this is actually going to be a little bit different. So there's drifting.
There's hell yeah, there's
handling.
drifting.
So the handling characteristics. Think about whenever you're playing Mario Kart. I love how Mario Kart is just so played, and it's got such high sales numbers that you can talk about Mario Kart like everybody knows it. So, I mean, not everybody, but you know what I mean. Your different karts will have different handling, different acceleration, different top speed, all of those things. We basically get to customize those in our car. Now, the bit that to me is cool is the implications of that in how the system is fundamentally architected. So I think about how right now in World of Warcraft, if you're driving up a hill or something, it's just, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
All 2 point whatever, whatever yards a second.
Yeah, gravity does not give a shit which direction you're facing. Yeah. Because gravity isn't real.
Now, think about this from, I suppose, the system's point of view. If we're now going to have a little bit of gravity going on. I'm just thinking about, what happens if you will... Let's hope World of Warcraft players do not need to do hill parking as a part of their driver's test.
Yeah, so, I imagine it's probably like... I don't imagine hills will actually suddenly be all that important, maybe potentially.
Well, even things like, what if you drive downhill and you're going a little bit faster? It's just there's all of these different things that will change, like the handling characteristics of the car and how it feels, which just means that I cannot wait to test this, because some of the tech that they've made here, while it's going to be very we're drifting, could be used in other types of mount in the game. I mean, you think about horse, basically hooved.
Horse.
You're gonna have, how do your quadrupeds feel? How do your biped mounts feel? If you actually break them down into their categories, if they were to go full hog into something like this, and you may think that's completely insane, I would just point you towards Guild Wars 2.
Guild Wars 2.
Guild Wars 2 has got bipeds, quadrupeds.
It's got bipeds, floaters, and quadrupeds.
There you go. So the rabbit is basically a big jumping mount.
Rabbits are very fucking cool, man.
Rabbits,
they move so cool.
Yeah, big fan of rabbits. So
yeah, you do like Judy.
God damn it. You've got your swimming one that sort of skims. There's one that's not here, which is a beetle thing. The roller beetle. No, there it is.
Yeah.
Right, there's a roller beetle. Good. Actually, we can just go through.
Yeah, this is probably the closest to what we can expect, actually.
Yeah. So, within... What the point of bringing up Guild Wars 2 is it shows dynamic ground mounts in lots of different forms. And also Guild Wars 2 is not particularly limited because yes, while that is the raptor mount or the roller beetle, you've got skins and they've monetized via their skins. So it's not just different types of raptor, like the skins are complete transformations. So the raptor mount is a biped. It's got a tail spin and a leap and a few other things you can spec into. The roller beetle is basically pod racing.
Yep. That's what I would expect substantially more out of the vibes of us going here is like, how can you be in control but also not completely in control?
Yeah, which basically Mario Kart.
Yep. Yeah, which is actually, I don't think it's here anywhere.
I was so happy when I saw this.
Yeah, but, oh no, yes, it's in, is it in this one? Yes, let me actually, well, this is open in the wrong browser. It will. Let me just throw this over to the correct browser very briefly. And here is a article from...
No, it's a GDPR prompt.
See, here's a GDPR prompt from PC Gamer. It was in here somewhere, yes. Oh my god, I forgot how ads are when you don't have ad block. Jesus Christ.
So the actual... Now you get some
notifications.
notifications. Oh my... The hell of the bad... I am so sad the camera was on me when you just did the...
Okay, yeah, I just blessed myself basically. So... Yeah, I found what I wanted. They were talking to Mark Collada, who did, I think he's also was interviewed by Taliesin as well. Moves at base roughly 4 to 5 times faster than your standard ground mount, which is, if you're keeping track, your standard ground mount is 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Your flying mount is 310. So this is faster than flying, but you're on the ground. But the thing I wanted is, obviously the design team's still playing in the space, but right now we're playing with the mechanic of the longer you can hold the drift, the more boost you can get. That is Mario Kart. That is Crash Team Racing. That is kart racer gameplay, which is fun. No two ways about it. It is just fun. So you're going faster than flying, but you're also drifting everywhere, which I think is genuinely like... I'm really looking forward to it. In a way that I was skeptical of dragon riding. And then I played it, went, this is good. But this promises more actual gameplay than dragon riding.
Yeah.
Or skywriting, I should say. Because skywriting going, what do you call it? Skywriting when you're... Like, unless you're doing races, basically... There's no real gameplay to it because you're in the sky. You have lots of freedom of movement. As soon as you're on the ground and you have to manage, but like not hitting walls, not hitting rocks on the ground, which is there's more stuff on the ground than in the air, generally speaking. That's going to be a lot more fun. You're going to have laps around Dalaran with gameplay because you're going to have people racing around Dalaran instead of just doing laps.
Yeah.
And the racing won't be find the shortest point from A to B, which I kind of enjoy actually. But Druid car form when? Yeah, I really need Druid form to handle this. I don't know what they'll do with that unless Druids get a beetle form and they just yoink the roller beetle wholesale. But it'll be very, very fun. Might be better for gathering than skywriting. Yeah, maybe.
I imagine that...
Sorry, the new movement tech will unintentionally bleed into DH Fell Rush Cog and I. Yeah, Janet, definitely. Honestly, DH drifting would be fun.
Yeah.
It would be fun, except you'd be disconnected every single time. Oh. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. I went in on that whole thing to find it in PC Gamer's article, and it's literally right here in our document. I'm sorry, Dakar, I don't have eyes apparently. So yeah, not Dalaran anymore. Yeah, I know not. No, we'll all go back to Legion Dalaran to do it for the crack.
Yeah.
So we will get timed quests are back. Oh no.
Good.
Time quests were horrible, generally.
Oh yeah,
because
but here it makes sense.
The only gameplay to a timed quest was not getting stuck, not forgetting what you were doing, not getting lost, and not accidentally aggroing a load of mobs.
It's basically don't be a dementia patient.
Yeah, there was no fun to them, realistically. But if you get time quests on a car, suddenly you're playing Need for Speed Underground 2 for the PS2. and you're back to when you were a kid and life wasn't all that bad.
Yeah, we're back in business.
Yeah, that's it. And obviously the driving equivalent skywriting races. So you'll get your Undermine Drift King title and be the best.
Good. Right. Next thing then, Matt. Player housing. So we've...
What? Player housing?
Yeah.
What's that? What's that?
I'm so confused. What? I was going to move to the next part of our document.
I was just being silly. I was being silly. This is a bit where if this were a panel show, they would cut that.
Oh my God, panel shows are all fake. So yes, player housing. Here it is. They've basically
very serious about it.
Oh yes, that which is actually good to hear. So they say they're very serious about it, and what that actually means is this has got its own dedicated team. This is a team who are not working on other things. Their whole job is the player housing feature for World of Warcraft, essentially. So that's certainly good. And I mean, even in terms of a quote here's one from Holly with the Daily Star, British tabloid. Housing is going to be a journey for the next couple of decades.
Jeez.
It's going to stick around and live with us. It's your house, it's your home, so we're really committed and dedicated to it, and we've built an entire team around it. So I think they clearly see this as being a massive thing. Another bit of my brain says they also could see this as something that could be another monetization vector if they wanted to go in that direction, which would certainly be a good way to justify getting enough of a budget to get a large enough team or, asset or resource allocation to just make this as big as they can, basically. But knowing that it's got its entire discrete team is certainly a good thing.
Discrete team, they've hired ninjas to do it.
Because I think a lot of people's fear would be this would just be an expansion feature. It would feel a bit half-baked, garrisons, and it could have problems and wouldn't really live up to people's expectations. I think they are being very clear in their interviews that this is a pretty serious feature. And it's also been worked on for a long time. This is actually interesting.
Fun. That was very fun.
Jen and Eric stated on social media the player housing was worked on as far back as 3 years ago when they first started working at Blizzard. They deleted the original post as it was confusing people as to when the development first started, which they have no idea about. That is, it's fair to say that's probably more, it was being worked on, maybe in a different iteration, maybe in a different scope.
Also, one thing to remember when we're talking video games, worked on could mean so many things. Oh God, this was very specifically a big thing when it came to Concord recently for PlayStation Studios.
The amount of people who think that was for, or this has been worked on for 7 years, $400 million, blah blah blah. It's wrong.
Yeah, there were thousands of people working on this for 7 years, and it's like it was. When we say 7 years ago, we mean there was a concept on a napkin 7 years ago, and then for a couple of years we were fiddling about. And then we staffed up. Yes. And then we started spending money to make it.
Scale production started in 2022.
Yeah.
Or I was either 22 or 21. I think it was 22.
Something like that. But that's kind of thing where we don't know if this has been in full development for 3 years or...
Almost certainly not.
Or this was, hey, this is on a whiteboard as a thing we've got like one guy scoping out tech-wise to come back to us with a report.
Oh, look, if this has been worked on for a year, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes, I would imagine this is probably worked on since, I would say maybe early Dragonflight at the earliest. Because I'm kind of thinking they did the flippity floppity and decided, what if we make the game good actually? Which is really unfair, but that's what it felt like as a player. When they went, okay, we need to take our decline seriously and act to solve it. They did that. That was obvious with Skywriting or Dragon Writing. That was obvious with how Dragonflight panned out even initially, and I think that was very clearly that was going to be around the time they go, okay, Dragon Writing's done, or the tech we have for this is done. Okay, go spin up the team to work on this because we know people want it.
Well, the point is at that time they realized they needed to stop working on random throwaway features and things needed to actually stand to the game for a while, which I think is fairly obviously what's going on here. Now, there is going through what a community wish list would... yes, millennials, congratulations. You can now own a house and a car, thanks to Blizzard Entertainment.
Yeah, I think this was...
Looking at the video itself, you can see that they featured a Bulwark of Azeroth, Royal Crest of Lordaeron, a few other things, miniature Goblin Shredder, and is it here? Yeah, the Night Elf Huntress Warcraft Rumble toy is there.
That's the Rumble toy, right? Yeah, I knew it was familiar, but yes.
So I would wonder if they will bring things like that in. Maybe they have. I mean, they have the 3D files. Obviously, they could do that.
What's the other weapon? You don't know the name of the other weapon either, you bastard. Not Thunder Fury. That one. Because obviously that's Bellular. Yeah. That's Bulwark of Azeroth. I was like, Azeroth. I don't know what that is. I recognize it, but I don't know a name. I'm no Asmongold.
So there will be placing your things in your house, yada, 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 all that stuff you would expect. In terms of community wish lists, features, well, people would probably want to choose an area.
Everything.
Choose a zone. Choose a style, so not just generic Alliance Horde like with garrisons.
If I can't put my house directly, specifically 3.5 feet away from the Tauren starting spawn point, I'm not buying your game. But yeah,
I think it'll definitely not just be Alliance Horde. That would be insane.
Yeah, I think you can look. Oh, we don't. It's not here, but one of the final shot. Was it before the Home Sweet Home or after? Either way, the shot of the Alliance and the Horde welcome mats. I think is just to kind of be like, okay, well, it's cool, whatever. But also, this is an Alliance house.
Yeah.
So they just wanted to make sure people didn't go, this is an Alliance house? Alliance feature? Ah! Which, I don't mean to be too unfair, but people are unhinged.
Oh, people are completely unhinged.
People do, even earlier there, people talking about, like, of course, another Horde faction leader's the raid boss. You're like, yeah, it's the story. Anyway, yes. Yeah, so this is where we're kind of very briefly talking earlier.
That's what the Horde gets for having interesting characters. Not with Gallywix, but with the other faction leaders. It was mostly because they could have interesting characters who'd be involved in the story, unlike the boring Alliance characters that Blizzard never did anything with. Anyway.
Yeah, but what about Tess Greyman and Kalia Menethil and Jaina, who's never done anything wrong, and all that?
I fall asleep.
Well, Jaina actually was a raid boss. We just didn't kill her.
Yeah.
We killed all the Horde ones, though.
So,
hang on.
People want gardening, people want expandable sizes, people want an area for their mounts, battle pets wandering around, profession integration, like maybe a carpentry, lumberjack, and to make old content relevant again. Honestly, those are all great things. We just need to wait and see.
So, let me think. What's not here? What's not here are things that, and I think this is very well chosen, because it didn't include some elements from community wish lists, such as Bank Nipisa or an Aha Nipaha.
Blizzard, do not ruin World of Warcraft.
Yeah, profession table. What else? What else have we got? There's other things in the game. Transmog NPC. And,
imagine if you fly into Dornegal and there's no one there because they're all in their houses. Yeah. Because that's where the profession tables, transmog vendor, banker, etc. Or
and also, I think I saw this. I think I saw this, but I think it was mostly a joke. Mythic Plus portals. Maybe Riyadh portal, maybe a raid portal.
Oh, portal to Riyadh. Great. I'm sure they'll get investment from them too.
Oh yeah, of course. Mailbox, and.
See, there's this big thing of players just so often players just want convenience, but you keep on giving convenience until suddenly it's not a game anymore.
Yeah. So
the World of Warcraft turns into the menu for instant content craft.
So I'm going to channel the spirit of Warlords of Draenor developers shortly after the release of Warlords of Draenor. Oh God, what are we doing?
Fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So rethink your entire life and perspective on everything if you are the person requesting portals to dungeons and an auction house in your house.
Yeah.
Although, monetization, we can talk about that, so everyone's thinking about it. And to take a look at another MMORPG,
Memorpaga,
we have got The Elder Scrolls Online. Which, so...
Housing starter kit for Fiverr?
Yes, to go through that.
Oh my, hang on. Okay, let's do some quick mathematicals. I'm sure there's a way to earn free crowns or something.
No, crowns are the premium currency.
Oh, they
of the
only
game.
fucking kill me dead. Jesus wept. So, which one of these we're going to look at as our base price? Which one of these? Because they're obviously very different. Okay, let's say $15 for 1,500 crowns. That's the base price, right? You can get a bit cheaper. Okay, so $15. So Daggerfall Outlook would cost you, let's see, about, I'm not really going to work it out, but just under $100 for Daggerfall Outlook.
Now, to be clear, I can actually explain how the system actually works because that is needed context.
Yeah,
okay?
that's good because I look at this and I see, are you charging me £100 for a in-game house?
The way that it works in the Elder Scrolls Online is, first of all, you can purchase inn rooms. So that is a room in an inn that you own, right? So there's those which are in the various different zones. They can only hold so much furniture. The next size up is apartments. Now, apartments cost 11,000 in-game gold, which I don't believe is that much.
That sounds like nothing because all games have massive inflation.
And they also, they can also cost crowns. So you can buy them for either gold or crowns.
Okay.
Right? So 600 crowns would be, a private room in the Barbed Hook, as an example, in Skywatch. Then
that's fairly cheap, especially because people are pointing out that you get 1,650 crowns per month with the paid sub.
Yeah. Then we go one up, and we got small houses. So small houses allow you to place all 8 storage chests and coffers if you own ESO Plus. Very good. Now, there's plenty of different houses in plenty of different areas. Those cost about 60,000 gold or 2,500 crowns. 2,500 crowns being like 2 months of sub or whatever they are on the crown store.
2.5K here, you'd be buying 3,000 for $25.
All right. Now, one size up again is the medium house. These are more like 250,000 gold or like 4,000 crowns, 3,800 crowns in and, sort of in and around
so
that.
So we're looking at $30-$40.
And then you've got large houses.
Is that these ones?
Nope.
No? What?
Large houses are like 1 million gold.
Right.
But you've got to remember, this is an Elder Scrolls game. So these are actual houses in the world.
Yeah.
And you own it.
Just like you would in a Skyrim or an Oblivion.
In one of them, yeah.
One of them games.
And these can cost like 6,000 crests, 7,000 crests. And then we go one up again, and we get manors.
Are these notable homes? Are we still not there yet?
No, they are. So
okay.
Manors can cost like 3.5 million gold, and those can cost 12,000 crowns, which is like a year of being subscribed to the game, or just
$100.
Drop $100.
Deals, yeah.
But there are also, Matt,
furnishings,
Crown Store exclusives, such as the Fog Break Lighthouse, which
Lighthouse kind of sick.
But you can't buy it in game.
Right.
It was last available 2023-04-20.
Oh, FOMO crowns spending?
FOMO crowns
FOMO
no
store?
longer available.
Okay.
The currently available ones.
Limited time offers. Great deal.
LTOs. Mm-hmm. Now, you could get, as an example, the Earth Tier Cavern. If you would just like your own cavern to sort of skulk about in, eat some fish.
Honestly,
sort of do a bit of Gollum.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Oh my god, Lucky Cat Landing. A medium house. So, that's basically how that works. Now, again, these are in the mold of an Elder Scrolls game. If it's being done in World of Warcraft, I've got to imagine that'll be different.
Yeah, I can't imagine them looking at ASO and going, we'll just yoink that, no problem. I also don't imagine them looking at FF Store and going, yo, we'll yoink that straight up, because it also has furnishings. It also has... how do I describe it? You'll actually look at the side. You see set, indoor furnishings, tables, tabletop, wall-mounted, interior wall, ceiling light flooring, and outdoor furnishings. So basically everything. There's a huge amount of it in game. There's a lot of it is like kind of earned through prestige.
I imagine Blizzard will do that.
Yeah, and huge amount of things. Blizzard will probably do this one. The question people are, I think, concerned about in some capacity is the actual house itself and how they do that. So obviously,
it will not be.
It's not going to be insane. It's probably not going to be paid for. because let me scroll up a little bit.
This is a feature to get new players into the game.
It's your house, it's your home. I can't imagine her saying that and then thinking
It could be your house. It could be your home.
Yeah, until we take it back, she didn't pay the mortgage.
Now, how about that?
Wow token a month to keep her floating, keep her house alive. Sounds good to me.
There's your World of Warcraft sub fee, right? But what if you could have a monthly sub on top of that is your mortgage?
Oh yeah. Yeah, so I imagine it's
perfect.
Because the smart thing to do here, business-wise, I think, sorry, I'm tired. The smart thing to do here, business-wise, I think, is give people houses, get them pretty easy, a small amount of gold, maybe bigger amounts of gold for bigger houses, but nothing absurd. You want crafters to be able to flex, but you don't want them to have the good experience and everyone else have the bad experience.
Yeah.
I think that's the struggle you have. I think then they're gonna do the furnishing thing, and furniture will be a lot of where the extra money comes from. You'll find the best things, you'll find the more interesting things, maybe not the best things in terms of prestige, but the things that are like in the same way they sell a lot of the coolest transmogs in the game that are thematically not part of the game itself in a way, like the Love Witch attire, all of like the thematic things. The trading post could end up being a source of a lot of it as well, because that will be really, really good for that.
Please give us more ways for tenders, please.
Yeah, they could improve the tender count along that at the same time to make that feel better. But there's definitely going to be big drives to incentivize extra money from this, because, and this is a slightly meta point, but if they've built an entire team around it, someone at Blizzard is going to be keeping track of the numbers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then someone at Microsoft is going to be looking over that spreadsheet going, make the numbers on one side bigger, please.
Look, if this is a monetized feature, I'm not going to be angry. It just needs to be done tastefully.
Yeah, of course.
And it needs to be done in a way that still makes me feel like I am a premium customer of a premium product, because that's what World of Warcraft is. I think that they have generally done a good job of that, but the Brutosaur is a perfect example of, oh dear, you have stepped too far over the line by having game functionality that is only in that thing beyond the store. So they need to be careful with that. But if it can be a win-win where World of Warcraft gets more resources and, the WoW team can say, hey, look, our numbers are up. We got a whole bunch of investment to do a big new feature and it paid off. Well, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
It's just, it always has to feel like that is then going back into World of Warcraft, and whenever they sort of violate that, then that's when it feels bad. I mean, even thinking about FF14, people probably felt more okay about the in-game store and all of those things whenever it was Shadowbringers into Endwalker and everything was great and they were happy, but look how quickly a lot of their players turned on them whenever they started to feel like the deal was not so good.
Yeah,
so, you've always like the most important thing, like the fundamental thing that you're trading on top of is goodwill, and you need to keep that good.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of goodwill, would you like to talk about a good expansion?
No.
Okay.
No, only here to talk about bad expansions.
Right. Okay. Well, then we can't talk about this one then, unfortunately.
Yeah. So Midnight looks really goddamn good. It's kind of ridiculous.
That's not where I was going.
Oh, never mind. You're going. You're going to somewhere else.
I was going ahead. I was going to Miss of Pandaria.
Damn.
But do you want to talk Midnight? Talk Midnight. You want? Do you feel like Midnight?
What would you prefer?
Let's talk Midnight.
Okay. Well, the only reason I was going to say that is because it is next in our document, and your segue segued perfectly into it.
Yeah, that's the problem. It was either actually. That was my mistake.
Too well.
I played too good.
Obviously, we don't know yet, but it's shaping up to have things in its favor. Okay, so let's take a look at the
most important
ingredients.
Most important ingredient is the super cool name. 100%.
Yeah, Midnight's a good name.
The least important is elves, who gives a shit.
Fucking knife ear scum. Rip the ears off, put them in a broth, eat.
There's
Delicious.
the void. Yes, exactly. So this is it's kind of like it looks to be with player housing being added, if it's in any shape or form good. With iconic locations remastered, written like a bullet point on the back of the box here, I feel like this is the potential to be the closest thing we'll have to a second Legion. Until, of course, the Last Titan, which will be Legion 3. We'll have 2 Legions back to back, and we'll finally all be able to die happy.
Yeah.
No, but realistically, I think that like this we've got here, the ingredients for this are all insane. They're all crazy.
And this is actually the start of something this is the start of something new. So we are getting an expansion that is set in the old world. Now, the expansion after this, Last Titan, is set in Northrend.
Asterisk, is it set in the old world, or is it set on Avalorn, across the other side of Azeroth?
No, it's not.
Is it not?
What?
Okay.
Wait, is what? What the fuck are you talking about? They already announced the Last Titan set in Northrend, you madman.
Yeah, but
Unless you mean a patch zone.
Yeah.
Unless you mean a patch zone, which you could.
Did they say that when Midnight launches we're going to Silverman City, or did they say we'll be in Silverman City in there? Because an expansion has 2 endings. Expansions have 2 endings, Michael. Expansions end when they end at the start and when they end at the end.
Oh, yes.
They've got a 12.0 or a 12.3 or
Yes.
12.2, sorry, because we're in a 0.2 world now.
Well, what we do know
Yes.
is what 11.0 will be, which is
12.0.
12.0 will be remasters
Midnight.
of those zones.
12, it's midnight.
Oh, yeah, shit, of course.
Yeah.
So, Ghostlands, Eversong, Silver Moon, Isle of Keldanas, Sunwell, basically those are getting remakes. They've already confirmed in interviews that those remakes will be substantially larger than their current versions. So, yeah, there's going to be a bit of weird map stitching at some point. Don't exactly know how they're going to handle that.
Well, excellently.
There we go, confirmed. But what's good there is a lot of the bits of Warcraft that we care about from back in the day, like them getting the full new zone treatment, but still being themselves. That is fundamentally like really interesting to me.
They're new and fresh, but the same. The same essence, but in a new form.
I'm excited by the concept.
Yeah, I
mean,
am as well.
Them
Very, very
just
much so.
rebuilding Northrend, which is what the following expansion will be. That's also really cool.
Yeah, because
we've long talked about Azeroth revamp as a thing. The first time they went to do Azeroth revamp, the best they could do was blow up Azeroth, but still keep it being the same geometry, the same, Azeroth, right? Because they only had so much bandwidth. The idea of an old world revamp was always basically impossible because the quality bar of a modern zone is so high compared to the old ones. Now, the old ones, like, I'm not saying they're bad. Obviously, it's just a modern WoW zone is humongous. It kind of needs to be that big, though, because we've got mounts, we've got flying, right? And if it's going to be that big, well, it does actually need to have quite a lot of detail, especially if it's going to keep up with other video games that are out, right? So that means...
No, every zone could just be Tanaris.
Perfect.
Where it's like, what's this? What's in Tanaris? Up at the one edge, there's some trolls. There's gadgets on one edge, and a gate, and some pirates.
Put in some sand, called
yeah,
done.
Yeah.
So there's going to be no one expansion that just revamps the whole world, I think.
No, they.
But
no
what we
chance.
would get
No chance.
is with the format that we see here, with Midnight, with Last Titan, they would be able to march through the world and actually rebuild the entire thing up to modern quality. And I think that's fundamentally exciting because you can only go to another island you've never heard of so many times before it gets boring.
That's why the other side is looming. The other side of Azeroth is looming big time because it's another continent. And that'll be very, very fun whenever they throw us over to that for a pat zone for a tease, so we get to get it built up before we go there ahead of time. Because it'd be really funny if it's like, Last Titan's over, we're going, fuck, there's nowhere else. Round the back of the side of it, go for the crack. Now that Amontoul's dead, the storm has dissipated. Actually, that would kind of rule. Fuck. Never mind, anyway.
If you think about how big zones are, one thing they could do is you could have the core old world remake actually just be the expansion after the Last Titan.
You could do.
There would be a way to do that, having them be seamless zones, because we don't need to have northern barons, southern barons, or whatever anymore. Right? If you just think about what the modern requirements for the game are,
Wouldn't even be the barons.
like you can just have the barons be, one big zone. Even thinking about some of the places where there's multiple zones, like, Ashenvale, Spooky Felwood, a lot of those.
Felwood, Darkshore,
You could merge into one big
Ashara.
zone. You can merge those into one big zone, and the existing bits are still there, but it's just one big modern zone that sort of spans multiple of them, because the game's just got different technical, can just do different shit technically now than in the past. So that could be a way to reasonably do the old world revamp as 14.0. And 14 minus 10 is 4, as in 2004, as in the year WoW came out with. So this is even a theory backed by numerology, the most precise science.
666. That's the only number I know.
I have read the Cathedrals by Focanelli, and now I know everything.
What about 1111?
1111.
777.
Oh, big.
What about 711?
Great, you went from Skyrim to the July bombings.
I was thinking.
Whenever people
I
say
was
7-7 in the UK, that's what they mean.
Yeah. No, I was thinking about. What was I thinking about? I just immediately started thinking about 7-Eleven. It was like, convenience store, hell yeah. Anyway, yes. And 4.0 was Cataclysm, the first world revamp. Spot on, Pern.
Numerology, once again, its absolutely unimpeached perfect track record only continues.
He's lost his fucking mind. Anyway.
It was lost long ago.
That's true. So, the kind of point we're building here is that remake or world revamp aside, Midnight has all of the parts of what can make something genuinely excellent, and we're probably going to get
including a bit of humor, because we can call it WoW Mid.
Yeah, that'll be
funny.
fun. Yeah,
and because it's funny, it'll work.
Yeah, or it'll just be nominative determinism, and it will actually be mid, and we'll be all like, "Fuck."
Oh, it's a twist in that. That's why they've done it.
And then the last Titan will be nominative determinism, and it'll be the last expansion because Xbox will shut them down.
Okay, I don't think we're going to get in a keynote presentation Holly making a joke about WoW Mid, but I think we might get Ian making a joke about WoW Mid.
Ian definitely would make a joke about it.
I can feel him making a joke about WoW Mid.
He's a funny boy these days. Like, he's a funny boy. He'll get that.
Dude's had the glow up.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
has,
beard
sure
suits him. He's looking sharp.
Yeah, it's like, what do you mean? The project I'm in charge of isn't actively on fire all that much anymore. Damn.
He's like, finally, I have support and allies.
Yeah, amazing.
I was just a boss designer. What have you made me do? Oh no.
Yeah, just Ian, would you like a promotion? Yes. Sure. What's my new position? Atlas. Okay, cool. Sure, no problem.
Okay, that's good.
No problem. Yeah.
Greek reference. God, that was good multiple levels.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah.
You got that big wrinkly brain.
I am, in fact, not as stupid as I pretend to be. Funny enough. Yeah, so I think the other part of this to talk about is probably the fact that it's the elves. People fucking love elves.
People love elves.
People love elves big time. Less so the night elves these days, which is great because they aren't involved that much.
Exactly. Finally, no more shite elves.
Yeah, it's going to be the good elves, which don't think about too deeply. But it's going to be all the Eastern elves, Eastern Kingdom elves. Going to be all the Varisa.
That's it. All the elves that aren't woke tree huggers.
Yeah.
That's how.
Except for the fact they all were and descended from the tree huggers and remain tree huggers.
We've got the ones who went so hard on spooky magic that they got kicked out.
That's true. That's actually true. Yeah, that's true. We've also got the deep elves, which I'm mostly excited for. Yeah, deep elves, the Naga.
Whoa.
I'm really excited for how they actually make that, how they bring that into the story in a meaningful capacity.
Perhaps Karesh.
But the ethereals aren't elves.
I know they're not. But They've also, like Blizzard has said, this is the big Void versus Light expansion.
Yeah, which is where we're going to have the Void.
I actually think the Arathi are going to be here too. Just given the
it's frustrating, right?
I could see the Arathi being a patch.
It's frustrating because the Arathi have an empire on the other side of the fucking world.
Yeah, I could see I could see their armada arriving and that being a banger patch.
Yeah, and that'd be frustrating because I want to go there. Yeah,
we'll go there afterward.
Yeah, but then it'll be 2030 and I'll be fucking ancient. Oh, anyway.
Anyway. Look, we got to find a new source of male vitality plus now that the Onion have purchased InfoWars and we can no longer access our delicious healthy supplements.
Speak for yourself. Anyway, yeah, I think I've got sources, and I think okay, good man, Chris. Good man, Chris, keeping us going. So just proper name drop there. Like.
Chances of anyone getting that reference are
literally
zero.
Like literally zero. So. Forget Arathi when Urel. Sorry, bad news. The Arathi have replaced Urel, and I will not accept any ideas to the contrary. Just because I feel like the Arathi clearly fit we're the light mentalists, not in the.
But what about everyone? But what about getting clumped? What about the hooves? What about big hoovers?
There's
big hoovers.
There's a subreddit for that. We don't need it in the game. We're okay. We're good. We'll get by. So, I think the Arathi are going to replace the Light Forged or the Light Bound Nero in that regard. I imagine so. But we do have the Void to contend with, which gives us all of the same good shit we got from Argus, from Legion, which is we are invaded from the outside, which is nuts. Like, you could see the Void invasion, the Arathi invasion, and it always feels like whenever there's huge movement like that, it kind of works. It always feels big, it feels good, it feels strong. That's why Legion worked. It's why Wrath worked so well, because we were invading the continent and fighting all over the place against a specific unified force. And that being there is, I think, that's going to work exceptionally well, especially for...
We either need to be the neocons or fight the neocons.
Yeah.
That's what Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and World of Warcraft expansions teach me.
Perfect, yeah. So, I think the thing we're talking about is like Midnight has everything to be an immense expansion. And the vibes are there. The vibes are there that the War Within is still tripping up in places. Big improvements from Dragonflight, which in turn was substantial improvement from Shadowlands.
Yeah.
But it feels like now you kind of have the momentum is building towards, okay, the War Within is the last case of the last like training arc before we get to really pull out all the stops, especially as we're looking at like the things that are going wrong here and things that are right. And also player housing is 3 exclamation marks in a document, because it's really hard to explain how huge that really is for the expansion.
If
for a box feature,
the scale they sort of are suggesting.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, look, we haven't really got traditional box features in WoW for a long time. In a way.
The one we did have was dragon riding, and that was a question mark at best until we were hands-on. Player housing is the one people go, I can have a house in World of Warcraft? I haven't played since Wrath. Let me in.
Yeah, that's something that will get cut through in other places. Because if you tell someone who hasn't touched WoW since Wrath that there's delves, they're like, what the fuck's a delve? I don't know. Like, we might care about a delve because we know what modern WoW is. But something like player housing, that is, I suppose, truly expansionary in a way that will get broad cut through in a generalized audience. I believe their quote was that they've had 254 million WoW accounts. So whenever you're doing delves, you're not targeting 254 million WoW accounts with delves. That's not going to get them back. If you do something like player housing, or an old world revamp, or a this is the Sunwell, but it's all revamped, that's what can start to tap in to the larger, base of accounts. Also a fun thing, by the way, for a bit of a yardstick. That number was 100 million in 2014.
Damn, so they've got...
Because Warlords of Draenor's infographic. They released an infographic at that point. It was 100 million. So they've gained 154 million from then to now.
That's a lot of bot accounts. Damn.
That's it. Definitely, yeah, all fake.
Yeah, no, real people aren't. We're not even real.
Of course not.
You're lucky if you're real, to be honest with you. If you're real, I'd be surprised. You're probably just a bot too.
Oh, no. So the way it works is they're real. But as soon as they stop watching the stream, we disappear. Because the simulation's only crafted us and all the other viewers to keep them entertained.
That's why my favorite part of stream is when we click end stream and cease to be.
Oh no! It's like Severance, but we don't have an outie and we only exist during the stream.
Yeah.
We have invented the Torment Nexus.
Yeah. That's why in order to get any progress in video games, we can talk about them. We actually play under the thing with our feet here. I'm actually rating right now. Just have a mirror on my lap, looking at my computer.
Oh, there we go.
But no, yeah.
So, what?
Do you guys have lower bodies? No. No.
Hey Matt, what are next?
What are next? I don't really like using that to actually transition to what's next because that's a problem. Is this InfoWars? Yeah, and we're losing. No. Yeah. What is next on our docket? We're going to talk about Mop Classic.
Mop Classic.
Because
Big Yum.
obviously Legion was the best expansion of all time. But before Legion was the best expansion of all time, Mists of Pandaria was the best expansion
And
of
if
all
you're a
time.
true connoisseur, it still is the best expansion of all time.
And if you're, I'm just going to say it, if you're a racist and you don't like Mists of Pandaria, then too bad. That's
Sure.
because the narrative explained that. The narrative has explained over time that if you didn't like Mists of Pandaria, no matter what reason you had, it was not valid. It was just that you're anti-Chinese.
That was the only reason.
That's it. So, that's a good one. The Rathion questline being accessible again will be good. That'll definitely happen, and they haven't lost the fans forever.
Yes.
100%. They'll recreate it. By the way, is that the world core in the last Titan logo? Probably, yes. We'll talk about that very briefly. Or very shortly, rather. But, yeah, Mists of Pandaria, I think, it's the title of this document here is the classic we've been waiting for. And I thought the classic I was waiting for was Wrath. But I played too much Wrath. And it was too classic-y.
Disgusting.
But Mop, I didn't play enough of.
I mean, I get
that's
your
the
point,
one
yeah.
expansion I wish I'd played more. Of all of them, I wish I'd played Legion a bit less. But that was a me thing, and I wish I played WoD a little less. Because 4,000.
That bit was a you thing.
Because 4,986 crystals.
You still got it.
Yeah, I still got it. But the itch that remix didn't scratch real Mop. Mop, as it was actually played and not just a grind through all the currency, was insane. Throne of Thunder is your favorite raid of all time? Is it still?
That's one of them. Yeah.
Hasn't dethroned, is it? You're not a big
No, it's kind
Nerebar
of like,
fanboy now?
that's a bit apples to oranges now. It wouldn't be Nerebar though.
Get ready to grind dailies for ages, Matt. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to play Mop Classic. Realize I grind dailies and then not play, obviously.
That bit was also fake. Not like mega fake, but you didn't need to.
Also, challenge modes. I can't wait to do Proto Mythic Plus.
Oh my god.
But this time it will be a Hellscape Nightmare, probably. People are going to have this optimized, man.
Man, I've got my Hunter challenge mode armor.
Oh, yeah.
Back then. That was a great
It's a shame these challenge modes in Mop probably won't let us wear them in retail. That would be good. I would enjoy that a lot.
Oh,
They won't do that to us.
though.
Unfortunately.
Even though it would kind of be more of a fair way to do it.
Yeah, so... Yeah, Mop is the end of the old era. That's the thing. It was like the peak of the old era of WoW in a way. Obviously, the real peak was Wrath in terms of player count and stuff like that. But I think Mists has the class design that people go, this was it. This was it. And it was the changing of the guard a little bit after that started to cause problems. It was like Cataclysm. You could see some of the wariness. Some of the wariness after. Because World of Warcraft has ended so many times.
Well, yeah, they didn't really think it would last too much longer at a point.
It ended after Wrath. Basically. They were like, the Lich King's dead.
There is no more Warcraft 3.
We're sorted. And then they went, fuck it, we've got Deathwing. Who's Deathwing? A dragon from Warcraft 2? Okay, sure.
Banger cinematic,
fine.
though.
Yeah, excellent. So it was like, Wrath was the end of World of Warcraft, and then Mop was the next end, where WoD was a new era, led by a lot of new people. And then that culminated in Legion, where everyone finally basically changed guard, and then we had a little bit of a different game after that. Normally, now we're getting back into the swing of that version of World of Warcraft reaching its apex in the World Soul Saga, of course. But this is like the last bastion of the World of Warcraft that was.
Yeah, it is.
And it's to a lot of people, the best version. Green Fire for Warlocks. People are going to be really happy to do that. I'm almost struggling to figure what class I want to play. Because I started leveling Shaman and Cata Classic yesterday because I thought about Map Classic. And I had like half an hour before bed. I was like, I'll just do some torn stuff. But I'll probably play DK. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to World of Warcraft combat that feels like World of Warcraft combat, but not now. In the way that I still think I prefer Legion overall, maybe. But I think there's a case we're getting to dig into that now. Because even this is something that I think is interesting. I didn't get good at World of Warcraft until Legion.
Yeah.
I got okay-ish, maybe, for the time in Wrath. I was dog shit for that. In MoP, I was also quite bad. I didn't really give it the full welly. I was kind of there enjoying it to a degree, but I didn't give it the full welly. And then Legion, I put the try-hard glasses on because I didn't have a job and was like, what if I just play World of Warcraft really fucking good? So I'm looking forward to giving Mists again a try now that I understand the systems, understand the gameplay more, and can appreciate it differently. Because that's the fun thing where it's a very bad tangent. Every single time I think of something, at least in the past few years, you know the way they say your brain doesn't actually finish maturing until you're 25?
Oh, yeah.
I feel that was like 28. That's like 28 for me, maybe 29. Because I'll like watch things or play things that I watched or play when I was in my mid-20s. I'm like, I didn't get this. Or I didn't appreciate this. I didn't see this for everything it was.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've become substantially more media literate in my like late 20s. Now that I'm like 31. I'm like, oh, I'll go back and watch something.
Man, finally watched Battlestar Galactica.
Exactly, changed my life. I'll go back and watch something I watched when I was in like 21, 22 and go, oh fuck, this is better than I thought, and I already really liked it. Holy shit. And I feel like I'm really excited for doing that for MoP, because I played MoP when I was 19, 20, a billion years ago.
Yeah, you would have been 19.
Yeah. I really look forward to doing it again.
Yeah, pretty much same. Just fucking good expansion, and hopefully if enough of us can get in Throne of Thunder, I mean, that would be really cool. So, yeah, that's the crack there. What,
Time for the bad news.
This will be fun.
Because it's been good news all day.
Yeah,
so it wouldn't be us.
Warcraft 3 Reforged 2.0 is, the cameras are not swapping anymore. Turns out the stream is also deforged.
Oh yeah, the mix effect is turned off our settings.
That was really kind of it.
Yeah, I really love having to do this multiple times every bastarding stream.
Yeah. Well, we can solve that problem at the cost of £1,000. To get the road thing.
I'm going to be really honest with you, Michael.
Proper VFA.
I'm going to be really honest with you, Michael. I'd rather do this. I'd rather do this. That's how I feel financially. I'd rather just click this manually.
Thankfully, you wouldn't be paying for it.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
We'll just, just crank up the sponsor button for a while.
No. We can do that. This stream was brought to you by what's over here.
Oh god, if we crank any more sponsors, I'll just work 300 hours a week and thought myself it'll be great.
Perfect.
But no, War 3 Reforged 2.0 is not in an ideal state. And have you ever heard of a term called a bullshot? Where a game is promoted based off a screenshot, but the screenshot is in fact not a screenshot representative of the game you will buy.
If you're unsure of the etymology of bullshot, there's an I in there instead of an O. So they lied asterisk. The asterisk being
Yes,
it clearly wasn't intentional. It was clearly a marketing error, some sort of
Yeah, but it's a really, really bad look because
Yeah.
at least for me, it completely, like, what this is not what I thought it was whenever I saw I looked at the screens.
Yeah,
Because you
exactly.
see something in a video, but then it's like you see the screenshots in the press kit where it's not in motion, it's not compressed by a YouTube stream, so you actually can see what it looks like. And it didn't look like that.
Yeah, so let's preface this with the important information first. People looked at the credits for Warcraft 3 Reforged, and it has a new 2.0 section because they wanted to split it up.
Oh yes, the context.
And it's really funny because you know that they talked about their RTS team? They're like, we've got the RTS team. They're on the ball, which, I don't really think Holly sounds like that, but I'm sure she was aiming for that kind of vibe. So we've got Reforged 2.0 here, right? We've got leadership. There's a nice 6 people. There's the RTS team. You may think there doesn't appear to be an awful lot of room left in this screenshot, unless you used a monitor in, a vertical orientation. 3. Brad
3.
Chan was 1/3. Clayton Stone was another 1/3, and he was a Rumble guy as well, wasn't he?
No.
Was he not?
Classic.
Was he? Oh, okay. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, good, because I just remember wrong. And Dylan Binder. That's the Warcraft RTS team.
3. There are 3 people on the Warcraft RTS team.
Yes. Now, there's additional context in the rest of this, of course, which is there's a lot of site reliability engineers, and I don't know there's too much reliable here, to be honest. There's additional production, and there's external development, which is where most of the names are. Because you've got Gasket Games, who were responsible for Age of Sigmar Storm something. And there's PlaySide
That would have been
Studios.
support for the Frontier-led Age of Sigmar RTS that came out like 1 year ago.
Yes, and then there's PlaySide Studios, who are a dev and publisher of a lot of things. I think they were credited in the original Warcraft 3 Reforged, the stuff like Kill Knight, things like that. Where's Samwise Didier? He hasn't worked for Blizzard for a while, unfortunately. Obviously, there'd be like older credits, which will show the original stuff, but most of the development in this game was done by Gasket and by PlaySide Studios. And this is the frustrating part when it comes to management or like outsourcing stuff. There's no idea if these people were like, say, there's like 11 here. We don't know if 11 people from Gasket Games were on this shit for like the last 3 years full time, or if this is everyone who looked over someone else's shoulder went, I changed that wee detail. It's really hard to know. Same with all the people from PlaySide Studios. So the issue here, the leadership outnumbering RTS team. Now we're Modern Gaming. Yeah, it's funny. Obviously, these are Warcraft overall leadership people. We know the names, but it was 3 main team members, 3 external artists, and they were working with all of the basically the devs for hire they got.
Yeah.
Which isn't inherently a bad thing, because Plunderstorm, as far as we're aware, in decent chunk of it came from Proletariat, who were bought out and jammed into Blizzard, and they went, okay, you're in the World of Warcraft team. You made Spellbreak, the Battle Royale, that was all Magic and stuff, and they play Plunderstorm and go, oh, you remade Spellbreak, but inside World of Warcraft, and it's really sick, excellent, fantastic. So I think that's like one of the wonderful versions of that. But there's context here, which is how Microsoft operate. Because you go, well, why didn't they build out the RTS team? Well, the RTS team that they had went and made Stormgate there, and then also went to other places.
Yep, BattleBot.
Yeah, so they don't have the existing team, so they had to look elsewhere. And one of the bits of context for this is how generally how broad outsourcing is today in the industry, and sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't. Blizzard's StarCraft Remastered versus Warcraft 3 Reforged 1.0 is a good example of that. But the big context is Microsoft. Microsoft don't want to spend any money on hiring people.
No. Microsoft
will spend money on contractors.
Especially when they're not hiring something that they expect to be a long-term asset. Yeah.
This is them saying, how much can we afford? How much are we willing to give you to finish an apology that's not going to be very profitable?
/ how little do we need to do in order to sell the battle chest again?
Yeah, exactly. What's the bare minimum here? And it was, we will give you the money to work with these studios for a while to get things sorted. And 3 people organizing the efforts of 3 artists, and then a good, like, 30 something, maybe 40 people here.
Yeah, but again,
That's
we
a lot of
don't
work.
know how many of those
Yeah.
30 or 40 were actually working,
Yeah, we've no idea.
or what capacity they were working on.
Yeah, so that's the context for why everything we're about to talk about happened,
Yes.
and how it's not really anyone's fault, but it is a product of process. False advertising, AI upskilled,
Oops.
huge asset me match. That sounds like a fucking Jar Jar Binks dating app. False advertising. Obviously, here's some general stuff. Update 2.0 is a good step in that direction, or it's ultra rushed and incomplete. Both of these can be true. So this is fine. So give me some zoom. Can I get? Oh, fucking notion, you silly sausage. Okay. So see on the left here, on the right, those aren't the same.
Yeah, and it might
Those really aren't the same.
It'll be hard to tell because this
Yeah.
is a screenshot of somebody's tweet, which
Yeah.
is, we got layers of compression.
Yeah,
but
so
basically,
this is the screenshot on the launcher that's on the press kit and stuff like that.
yeah. Now, if you look close at that, what you basically see is there are, I suppose you could say, drawovers of the buildings, because those buildings do not look like that with the up-res graphics in game.
Yes,
Right?
because they look like, that's the actual image we got here, the actual image from the press kit, so we can see
Yeah.
some more detail. We can see some more detail.
And basically, that level of detail is not there.
And
And there are some
it's
weird
not even
things.
just detail. It's not even just detail. It's literally, it doesn't look like that at all.
Yes.
Because you'll see there,
Yeah,
that's it
back
on the
here.
that's it on the right. There's different designs.
So one of those has clearly been touched by an artist.
Yeah.
The other one is clearly AI upscaled. I say AI upscaled only because modern upscalers generally are AI because it is superior to other upscaling.
Yeah, you can't algorithmically upscale
Yeah.
decently. People have tried, and that's why you get emulation. People who are like, this filter looks really good, and you headbutt them. Anyway, yeah. So
Good to know.
Yeah. So basically, oh man, there's some people who've ruined games. Anyway, this is what was on the site. This is what they advertised. They advertised the left.
Yeah, and what
They
that
released
said
the right.
to me was, oh, these are like new assets, essentially. This looks really good.
Yep.
What they've released is transparently not that, such that it completely changes the quality bar of the thing that has been shipped.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
I mean, just look at the comparison, right?
That's not the same thing at all.
It's a different thing.
Yeah.
Now we think that this is a internal visual target or piece of concept work, because you see people, concept art is not what you get in an art book for a video game. It is actual working art that is used to solve problems, such as doing, like, the idea of, oh my god, I can't believe they went and faked a screenshot. Actually, loads of games do that. They just do that so that their developers have a visual target to work towards. You'll have your artists mock up a game screenshot in real good quality so you know what your game is supposed to look like. So this could be something like that. And the wrong asset got released in marketing. But the point is, that asset was released in marketing.
Yes and no, because the press kit, actually, when you look at the overall shots, the press kit labels this one, the one with the drawn over assets, is gameplay concepts. They just didn't tell anyone that when they put them on the launcher. So the thing that you saw, everybody saw the bits,
And
everybody saw
also-
these,
also-
but it didn't say, this isn't what you're buying, mate.
To put that there, under that label, that is not at all how you should use an asset like that. An asset like that should never be on a public press kit.
It's
because
massively moronic, isn't it?
that
Like-
is immediately going to be confusing.
Yeah, here's the gameplay concept. In other words, here's the game we were trying to make and fucking didn't. Whoops. Sorry
Yeah.
about that, boys.
Or even it just being,
Fuck me.
it's that thing of like, if it looks like it's the game you could buy and play,
Yeah.
then that's got to be the game you buy and play, or else you don't show it.
It's the basics.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing, like I don't know what they're called in the US, but obviously we've got like the Advertising Standards Agency. We've got a lot of boards and government bodies and the like that have figured out all these ideas, such as selling your product properly and not lying to your customers. Not going, would you like to buy this car? Yes. Hand over the check. Here's your fucking bicycle. That's not how it works. It's just not how it works. But they did it. And it seems to be an error. It seems to have been a mistake. As to whether they will actually address this in capacity is interesting. I don't think they have the capacity to turn around and say,
no, they don't.
We lied and sold you the wrong game. Our bad. This is going under the rug.
Yep.
And they're going to quietly fix what they can. But the fact that this image, or not that, the image this is part of, is actually still on the press kit blows my fucking mind.
That should be taken down.
If I were Holly or Ian, I would be physically in the room going, fucking delete that, you series of expletives.
Just log into it yourself and delete it.
Yeah, basically.
This is not good.
Yeah, it's
that is.
Yeah, like this is the post that is like, how do I make my game look like this? This isn't what they. This is what it's supposed to. It doesn't.
And also, even if you're to say, well, it does say game, it's what they marketed. If it's there in the press kit, like, man, that's part of marketing, and you shouldn't do things that'll confuse your customer.
Yeah. Is it just AI upskilled? No, it's hand drawn.
Yeah,
it's literally drawn on. This was another one that I think is interesting because we do have to have the conversation about the AI art and AI upskilling and things. AI generated art and bad art are two very different things. And bad art doesn't necessarily mean a bad artist. It can just mean bad process or bad time. Because people were all saying that this was AI generated. And they looked at a whole bunch of mistakes like, that troll has 5 fingers. Trolls do not have 5 fingers.
Yeah.
AI generated.
If you're saying it's AI generated, you're fucking stupid.
Yeah, things like...
think about how... Oh my God. You're not going to be able to just go onto Midjourney and get it to do a Warcraft. No, that's not how it works. Think about the training sets, right?
Yeah.
Like, just Warcraft concept art is way, way too narrow of a data set to train a model. I mean, you could fine tune in that direction, but no. This is not that. There's even some things where they're like, the AI doesn't know what to do, and you're just like, it's far away and in low detail. That's how the art's done.
That one specifically was like his clothes are melting into his skin, and it's like, it's called brushstrokes, moron. Which, not to be too mean, but it's like, this is at further detail, this is in shadow, stuff like that. These are like, you can have things that are off model when you're 3 people working with 2 studios and 3 external people, and when the RTS team aren't artists anyway. They're likely to be focused on things like implementing features to the game, making sure it runs on Mac, which it still doesn't.
Well, the historian role?
Yeah.
Things like getting the right number of fingers in a troll, that was part of the historian role's job description. So things like approving pieces of key art, they would be the people who would look over something to check there's the right number of fingers. That department was gutted.
Yeah. So like, this is the kind of thing where this is not AI generated. It's literally just, this is external art that was outsourced and it was signed off on. And in some cases, that's fine. Because you're looking at this, you're like, no one's going to give a shit. You look over here and we're like, whatever. Troll having the wrong number of fingers, that's probably something you send back and go, actually, we do have high standards here about how we treat things. Things like that, like, even like the complaining that the high elf priest looks a bit sculpty. You're like, it's a background character in a big art.
Have you ever looked at the comic?
People are going to look at this and go, these guys are fucking sick. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever looked at a comic?
No, I don't read those.
Look at background characters in a comic. Look at background characters in a TV show.
Look at Starbucks cups in Game of Thrones.
Like,
which is kind of the same thing.
I think a lot of they wouldn't understand that if those background elements were done in as high a level of precision and detail, it would be a worse piece of art.
And it would take a billion years and be pointless.
And the point of it being a worse bit of art is it's supposed to guide your eye.
Yeah.
If something's got, too much detail, then that Even like a background character, if that's over detailed, then it messes up your depth perception, which will ruin how. That's not good.
Yeah, even like the lighting thing where
blah blah blah. The fundamentals of art. Insert here.
Yeah. Yep. Which I think is important to bring up because
people are going to look at that. They're going to see it's been upvoted in Reddit and just be like, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not even just this specifically. It's that I think that AI generated slap replacing actual art is genuinely a fear and genuinely a thing we should be kind of wary of to try and spot people who are liars and charlatans and all that sort of thing. I think that actually understanding these in some capacity can greatly help you navigate the world. And I don't mean this some kind of let's all be navigating the world together really well and
let's
evenly.
all be rational actors. Woo!
Yeah, I just think learning stuff is cool, and I fucking love looking at art. I've always liked looking at art, and I have substantially better. I've had a much better time looking at art since I started to actually look at it and try to understand composition and read up on it. The more I do that, the more I look at bits of art that I thought were cool and go, this isn't cool. Yeah. This is fucking incredible.
Honestly, go to a museum, actually look at shit.
Yeah.
Like art-wise, look at shit. Learn the foundations upon all which this is built. And you will get more value out of the shit you're going to see anyway. So you may as well put in the skill points to actually see it.
Yeah. Unless you like looking at bad art, and then you'll get really mad because everything you like is bad. But that's something worth doing. We'll also mention that this is not just art issues. This is also a bunch of other issues, such as the hotkey rebinding isn't finished because it's a GUI for the customs key.text functionality that existed, which never let you rebind inventory keys. Yeah. So when they replicated that functionality, they weren't able to add inventory rebinding or didn't think to. Which is one part of people going, where's my thing? Where's my feature that you said? You're like, yeah, we did it. No, you didn't. You didn't do it properly. There's inconsistent frame rate issues with different assets, especially the new classic HD stuff. There's some, I didn't see any specific examples, but there's people complaining about the AI upscaling, clipping things and being wrong at times, and just needing there's a couple of the passes they could have done and checked in a product that respected you. You'd hire people to go over them all.
I'm not against you doing some sort of ML assisted thing.
Yeah, I'm actually
for that. I mean, even a good example, take the EA Sports College Football, or whatever the hell it's called, which if you're outside of America, you got no idea about because it's American college football. That was only possible because of machine learning stuff. That's the only way that they can have 11,000 players and all of the different stadiums for all of the different colleges. That's a good example of we have the technology, now we can do this type of game.
Yeah.
So yeah, using that stuff's absolutely fine. You just have to do it right. I mean, Cataclysm Classic's actually a pretty good example of that being done well.
Because I was playing on my laptop yesterday, which was the cheapest SKU of MacBook Pro from a billion years ago now, which means it's 128 gig internal storage, which isn't big enough for World of Warcraft. So I couldn't actually get the 42 gig of additional textures that were the highest, but I look forward to actually playing with those because I think that the game being crisped up a little bit will be really, really good. Really fucking good. Really enjoyable. Really enjoyable. Leaving the bad upscaled in screams lazy. Sort of. It's the awkward case of...
It's not lazy.
Yeah,
well, it's not like the actual developers were lazy. It's that the institution was lazy.
Yeah, that's always the case. I think you'll find lazy developers. But you kind of have to operate on
when you do, fire them immediately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't do that because you're just a player, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I know what you mean. It's like you're going to have devs who maybe don't do the most work, but...
by the way, I don't mean that specific. I don't mean that as like a Warcraft thing. I mean, whenever you fire that person who's just towing the line, or find them, just get rid of them.
Yeah, spend that money on someone who's doing a better job. Yeah, that's how it works.
If you retain the talent density of your company, then people who work in it will not want to off themselves.
Yeah. Which is rough, but when it comes to how much work some of these fucking people have to do, yes. Because to be a creative is suffering, and the world seems to like to double down on that by adding more.
They watched Westworld and got the wrong impression.
Yeah. You're like, what's that? You You inherently have a lot of suffering, and that drives you to creativity. Would you like to step into the suffering box?
Would you like even more?
Yeah. Well, you should work for us. We're company/corporation. You're like, oh, which one? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's a bit rough. But there's a couple other little issues here and there, like the Mac. As I already said, the Mac build. They were like, works for Macs, boys. Broke for over a month. We fixed it. No problem. And then someone with a Mac booted it and went, no, it doesn't. Like, and then they were like, we're sorry. It doesn't work. We'll fix that soon. We promise. It speaks to, and the reason I led this segment with, or we, I should say, with the RTS team being 3 people is like, this is not their fault.
No.
And because this is a Microsoft thing, I can't even point at the leadership credits and say it's their fault. Because they have a checkbook and they're like, Warcraft RTS team, we'd love to give you more checks because it's about number of checks. Obviously not what's written in them. But we actually ran out because we weren't given any more. And then Microsoft are like, yeah, just outsource, bros. Just outsource, bros. It works for all of our Windows development, doesn't it, Michael?
I hate Microsoft Windows 11. It is the worst thing it's annoying whenever you're like used to the Mac OS experience and then you're just using Windows, and the amount of insane decisions, 3 different at least UI designs existing within the same operating system, how it routinely just updates itself and breaks, how it's crammed full of adverts. And like, oh my god, like, hey Apple, please get Proton, please get some Proton energy going, so we don't have to touch any Microsoft related. Funny because it's a Microsoft owned game now, but God, Windows, Windows is such an awful experience now. I remember Windows 7. That was a good time.
Going from
what the hell
Vista to 7, I was like, oh my god, I have ascended. It is beautiful. And then 8 happened, and I was like, oh fuck. We peaked, boys.
Yeah. And it's just been an ongoing disaster ever since.
Yeah.
And now
when did they introduce the 18-month contract rule? July of 2017, after a court case caught them out because
XP was a good time too,
because they were going to be made turn people who worked for them for 2 years into full-time employees, which would cost more money and have some sort of things like rights and things like that.
Oops.
And then they said then no one allowed to work for us for more than 18 months.
And that's why partially Halo's been kind of awful and mishandled for a long time.
And also everything else.
Yeah. Which makes sense. If you actually look at Microsoft's output as a company, it's awful. They do not understand product like on a fundamental level. They're awful. Entirely
abusing their leverage as a company with money for Azure and for AI investments, and they're not making any products that are worth the fuck. Maybe enterprise people will say Azure is actually good or whatever else, but I don't know about that.
Yeah, Microsoft they're rapidly one of my least favorite companies.
I genuinely get angry when I think about them.
Yeah.
Because I'm a Windows user. I use Windows daily, and every time it has an update, I get a little bit scared.
I use Windows to play video games only. Yeah. I will not touch Windows, and honestly, if it's a video game, if it's like StarCraft or World of Warcraft, I will play it on my MacBook because it's stable. It doesn't assault me with updates that will regularly break things, meaning I have to reinstall Windows again. Even the concept, I've had to reinstall Windows countless times, and this is across loads of different computers, just in general, right? So many times. I have never had to reinstall Mac OS since 2013 across loads of different devices. I've never had to reinstall the OS. I've never had that type of problem, or even just, inherently with Windows, you get registry bullshit. It's nice not having that. Oh man, yeah, Windows sucks. Ugh.
Microsoft, yay!
And that's why Cyclone Blades Linux for work, Windows for games. Yeah.
Yep.
The only reason you would possibly use Windows is video games. Linux and Mac OS just superior for everything else.
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly. Truly incredible. Truly incredible. So that's Microsoft is probably why like, at least this is my theory, right? Until someone confirms this in some capacity from inside, I don't know. But I am big time assuming that the reason we have a 3-man RTS team and a bunch of outsourcing and clearly issues that result from mismanagement of production cycles, things like that, and maybe even rushing to get this ready for this, all a result of just management, just where's the resources? You're a $3.17 trillion company. Surely you can afford to hire someone to fucking look over some goddamn art.
No.
No?
No.
That's how they got to be a $3.17 trillion company. You don't make money by spending money except for when you... What? Hang on. No. Hang on a second.
Capture market.
Capture and squeeze.
Manage decline.
Yeah. It's the Netflix model as well. Sorry, it's the everything model because we live in hell. Sorry, I don't mean the doom. It's just very easy when you look at businesses.
And it's funny with Windows because like that's both of us across like multiple completely different systems. Mm. For me, that includes like pre-built. That includes pre-built, self-built, Razer Blade. This is across multiple different chipsets. For you, that's like, for me, that's mostly been Intel. For you, that's been AMD. Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah, I've had Windows laptops, and to be fair, this could be a hardware thing as well, right? I've had Windows laptops that just fall to fucking pieces after a handful of years. I don't even remember how long I've had this MacBook, and it's not particularly a great one. It's the M1.
The Apple Silicon stuff's just
and it's
superior,
fucking
like.
still great. Battery life's not as good as it once was, and having no, what I call it, kind of no storage and no RAM is kind of balls. It's a obviously a financial problem on my end, but otherwise good. Love it, great. So
yeah. Plus, Microsoft just can't design anything, which is a bit of a problem.
That's true.
Remember when they fired all of their, not all of, but basically, I think it must be a decade ago now, Microsoft made extremely deep cuts to their automated testing team. And it's been really funny how, since that kind of thing happened, Windows bugs are getting worse.
Are you trying to say that quality assurance people are in some capacity important? Would it be of interest?
Automation testers, that's a hardcore big job. Anyway.
Yeah. Would it be of any interest if I were to highlight anything such as the ZeniMax Workers United striking against outsourcing just this week? All 300 or so of the Bethesda QA staff saying outsourcing is causing severe problems for us, and we're striking to make sure it doesn't happen. And that means it's causing
problems for you, because they're QA testing your games.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Activision QA did the same strike last month.
Yeah, and if there's problems with those games, the workers won't want to ship them. It's the Microsoft that will.
There was someone, I can't obviously verify this at all, there was a Reddit comment, something along the lines of, I think it was a Blizzard game, someone said, oh yeah, I worked QA, I literally saw one of these bugs, whatever months ago, flagged it, and it just sat there untouched, because they didn't have the resources to fix it. Like, class.
Yeah, kind of wild stuff. Yeah. So in terms of things, we've talked about many things, man.
Yeah. So we kind of went off on Microsoft there.
That was just a little bit, but
and we kind of spoiled our next segment a little bit, which isn't really it, because we're going to talk about is the future of Warcraft RTS bright and laugh like hell, because like fixes are kind of coming in some capacity for the issues that are there, and Microsoft do have the AOE team, the Age of Empires team, that do an excellent job. Despite Microsoft, which is the frustrating thing that you have to say that. So there is a world where this could all function. There is a world where this could all work. There's a world where this could all work. It just takes Microsoft to actually go for it.
Would a World of Warcraft 4 be completely off the cards if they're able to? Not going to happen.
Yeah, literally never.
Okay, there's one way it could happen, and that would be to get Relic to make it. I say that because Relic made Age of Empires 4. No. So there is it's honestly, it's kind of like the Age of, it's similar to the Halo model, where you have the sort of core stakeholder studio. Just that in the case of Age of Empires, it's a few studios, but it's also loads of mod teams who just have turned into studios now.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, Forgotten Realms or Forgotten Empires even. Yeah, Forgotten Empires. They're or Forbidden Empires? I forget. They're like the main AoE 2 team, I believe. But whenever they're doing a big game like Age of Empires 4, they got Relic to do it. So yeah, if there was ever going to be a Warcraft 4, it would definitely be made by Relic, the long-time real-time strategy game specialists. So
I'm here for a long time, not for a real time. Oh dear, yes.
That's the only way it could happen.
Yeah, that's interesting. I just get a little bit sad when I think about it because it's all just corporate bullshit.
See, the thing
just
is,
throwing their turds into a sprayer and just going world. Blah, 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 blah.
The problem with this is Age of Empires 2 always had clear audience demand.
Yeah.
Right? Always had clear audience demand. You could see that because people were playing Age of Empires 2. There were community-made solutions, like, you know, I forget the name of the third-party, like, laddering and everything, but it had amazing community support. So Microsoft had a very clear signal that making the investment made sense. The trouble with Warcraft...
Small investment, too.
Yeah,
small,
for them, a small one, yeah.
Warcraft 4,
AoE 4, larger investment, but still, Warcraft 4 would be Warcraft 4 that feels like it meets, not even exceeds, but meets the bar of Warcraft 3.
That's easy, 100 mil game, like.
I mean, in the modern context of how these games are made, yeah, easy.
Yeah, easy 100 mil.
And I really don't think they're going to do that at all.
Yeah, because that means you sell 20 million copies to be profitable.
Well, you'd be okay if you sold like 4 million, but that's just not enough for them.
Did I say 20 million?
Yeah.
Sorry, I literally just had a zero added there for no reason. You know, you would need a couple mil copies to begin to be profitable, not to rake in profit. To begin to be profitable. Yeah,
because the thing
to
here
break
is
even, like,
you don't, you want to be making massively outsized gains.
Yeah.
Whenever a project's greenlit. Yeah. So the problem here is AoE 4 or Age of Empires 2 continued work, and I can't wait to play Battle for Greece, which is recently out and seems to be getting really good reviews. That makes sense by the maths. And it makes sense as a new thing to do with Age of Empires 2, because Age of Empires 2 has got a defined scope and a fan base that wants that. With Warcraft 4, completely different. Yeah. The expected bar of quality is so beyond what they could actually ship.
Yeah.
Think about the animations. Think about just how expensive the animations for all the different units would be.
To buy them off the Unity store, $10 pop. Sorry, the Unreal store, because everyone uses Unreal Engine 5 now. And then just jams TA in their game, and it's like, why are there bees inside my eyeballs? Oh, sorry, I'm just playing a modern video game. My mistake.
Yeah, that's the one thing with DLSS and everything. There's times you do just think like, why is this game a bit muddy? And then you turn off all those filters, and suddenly it looks good again.
Yeah, except it runs at 15 frames per second, unless you've got a 1480. I'm
glad I overinvested in my graphics card to have a good modern one, because dear lord, modern games are getting by on DLSS alone.
Yeah. So one thing that was funny to me was Stellar Blade on the PS5 Pro.
Oh.
Stellar Blade on the PS5 Pro.
720p internal resolution?
Something like that. I think it's a relatively lowish, like I think it's like 1100ish or something, with PSSR. The PlayStation DLSS is really fucking pretty. The game on a base PS5, there's bees inside your eyeballs.
That's the best way of putting it.
The game's pretty, but everything's fuzzy and blurry and shit.
Yeah, I don't like in games these days where I look at a static object and it's shimmering.
Yeah, that's why I say bees inside your eyeballs. Yeah. The PS5 Pro version of it running on quality mode, which increases the quality, bumps it back to using TAA, temporal anti-aliasing, and the whole thing becomes dog shit. It's rendered at a much higher resolution and looks immensely worse. Modern video games have a problem. I'm not a graphics engineer. I don't have a fraction of the IQ required, or the training, or the eyeballs, or anything.
Yeah, we don't have the eyeballs because of the bees.
Yeah, the bees have eaten my eyeballs because I played the games instead of graphic engineering them. I would love to sit down and talk to someone who's responsible for like managing stuff across the entire stack, because I would love to have my suspicions met, which is
Wouldn't we all?
yeah, which is all.
I can't wait for the aliens and the numerology and the alchemy and all of my other suspicions.
So I feel like we're getting so many layers of complicated system that no one knows how it all works, and it is just we're fucking throwing stuff into the furnace and seeing it explodes.
It's like a layers of technology version of something that lots of artists struggle with. Where
when you're
when an artist they've. I mean, I don't, because I mean the closest for me is like a thumbnail that has too many layers, too many effects, and you're like, oh god, I am lost in the sauce. Yeah. But whenever a piece of art, you just feel like, oh god, I've overworked it, and I don't really know how to unoverwork it. And then you flip it horizontally, and you just immediately yourself, because you horizontally flip something, your brain then registers it new, and you become full of horror.
Yeah.
It's really weird whenever you're like, I'm doing a thumbnail and I horizontally flip my face. That deeply unsettles.
Yeah, I
don't understand. I actually don't understand why.
I did that for a couple.
I'm sure there's science behind it.
There's actually two elements. Two elements of it is the horizontal flip making, this looks completely different to my brain, so I'm re-registering it because we're not used to flipping things horizontally at all. That doesn't happen in nature.
Oh yeah.
It literally can't happen. You can't unless you do like mirror tricks. But
mirrors for Matt. Come on, mirrors. We know they're not real.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, they're ran by the vampire pedophiles.
Yeah, definitely, of course. But there's also the generally speaking, more attractive faces are generally closer to symmetrical. But faces aren't symmetrical.
Yeah,
they're far from it when it comes to detail. So you flip a face horizontally.
You're not symmetrical. You're far from it.
Yeah. So when you flip someone's face horizontally, their face is now on backwards. It looks wrong. They look like a different person.
You're wearing your face backwards.
Yeah. Like that's that's genuinely it. Yeah. That's genuinely because I noticed that because I would occasionally try to flip us for stream thumbnails, and then I immediately go, oh my god.
Your new honorary title is Matt Big Think.
Yeah. I just
Matt Thinkman there.
Yeah. I was like, why am I so horrendously ugly? Flip like this. And I flip back and go, there's the handsome boy I know. Wonderful. It happens every time. Like, what in the fuck? Why? Like, and you start to spot the differences. You start to spot the asymmetries that you don't before. And it's like, that's really fucking weird. It's really weird. Even in expressions, because expressions are very rarely symmetrical. I'll always pull my left eye down a little bit more, generally speaking. So an expression I make, which is then flipped horizontally, is a backward expression. Then there's other things like I have a scar here, stuff like that. But yeah. My cousin hit me with a lump of coal when we were throwing. When we were throwing coal at each other when we were children. Yeah. Now I have a scar that's slightly tinted purple here under the eyebrow.
Yeah. Time honored local tradition of the good old the coal fights.
Yeah, children are fucking weird, man. Weird. But yes, you must be shocked comparing your mirror reflection and screen capture. You kind of get a little bit used to it, but it
because
is
it moves,
but it also
doesn't register the same.
Yeah.
How unsettling.
Yeah. So I think this is us generally winding down a little bit. Are you good to continue for a bit?
I think it's time to wind down. We have a few more topics in the tank, but we'll save them up for the next stream so we can sort of give them the energy they deserve.
Yeah. So there's a couple things that I'll just briefly.
There's lore in there that's good, and I want to do it with a working brain.
Yeah. So there's lore. We'll do lore later, which includes things such as Lairs Valzaroth being insane, the cosmology charts origins, and the world core stuff, which
the world core.
As for this, I'll run briefly through the other stuff just for the purposes of the news, I think. But we have details on this will be in the news. Both these stories will be in the Warcraft news, which will go live after this or tomorrow. Depends.
That depends when I get an email back.
Okay.
Members, if you're, our members at Bellular Games will get it today.
Yes,
I just have to wait in the thumb up from our sponsor for the live publication.
Yes. So we have a StarCraft shooter. I'm sorry, I'm leaning backwards and I drank beverages. StarCraft shooter is confirmed, right? From the reporting from Play Nice, the Jason Schreier book. There's a job listing for an associate design director, and it fills roles for a new unannounced game. There's a couple of them, but this is the one we looked at. It was the associate design director, innovation, and it was, as the design director of innovation, you'll be the vision holder and owner of key strategic innovations on an upcoming open world shooter game.
Dear me, that sounds like CEO speak. My CEO quote of the month is Andrew Wilson saying, "We never want players, who are enjoying whatever our, live engagement experience. We don't want them to have to choose between their current investment or future innovation creativity."
Oh, yeah.
Now, by future innovation creativity, he meant
A sequel?
A new game, a new product. But no, in CEO speak, it's innovation creativity.
Future innovation creativity.
It's great. Anytime I go to write like another video, I'm like, oh, okay, it's time to manifest some innovation creativity.
Yeah, so let's ignore that this goes, "You stay current with the latest developments in both the indie and AAA space." David Bowie is quoted as saying, "Go a little bit out of your depth, and when you don't feel it, your feet are quite touching the bottom. You're just about in the right place to do something exciting." Fuck, I went fast there. Just absolute wank.
Yeah.
For 100%. But this is the kind of thing you want to talk about when you're interviewing someone, maybe, or you're like, "Hey, we're bringing you on board." I always think about the David Bowie quote in person, not fucking here. But open world shooter game, they only have one shooter in the works that we know of, and it's the StarCraft one, so it's open world. That also lines up because I forget the bastard's name. Is it Dave?
I was about to make a terrible
Dave
joke.
Hay? Dave Hay? Is it something Hay?
I don't
Is it
fucking
D?
know, dude.
Anyway,
I
he
have
was
no idea.
he was the Far Cry guy.
Oh, yeah.
He was the Far Cry guy. And they yoinked him 1,000 years ago. And if you've played Far Cry, you'll know Far Cry. Big open world shooter.
Apparently, a good old case of the whole team's been fired, but my job is safe.
Yes.
Has went on.
Yes.
And while I love StarCraft, I must say I do carry with me a few negative biases.
Of course, yes. So they're building up the team for this open world StarCraft shooter, which is going to be David Bowie inspiring. Not inspired, inspiring. Innovative. Innovation has to be unique and special and interesting. There was also a design director for systems economy for a live service game, which we assume is different because there's different language between them. And then there was senior designer for missions and combat AI for a game that had a variety of like mission-oriented combat things that had multiplayer and AI components and things like that. Whatever that might look like. I think that was mobile and PC.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a chance that that's whatever they're doing with Rumble. Maybe trying another chance of that with something else. Maybe now they've got rid of everybody.
Oh man, I can't wait for Rumble and
Yes.
PC. I cannot wait for all of the incredible content for Rumble on my personal computer.
Yeah, exactly. December 10th. Yippee! Yahoo! Wappa! I can't wait. Exciting. Whatever. It's fine. So that's basically it. Where experience with AAA game engines is pretty basic in all these minimum requirements. But I don't know if that means they're going to be using Unreal at all.
Oh my
Well,
god,
it's
they're
hard to-
not using Godot. Or is it Godot?
Insane. It's Godot.
It's Godot.
It's Godot.
But Gal's Godot.
Gal Gadot, yeah. Yeah, it's Godot like Ace Attorney guy. From the coffee music, no?
I've never played an Ace Attorney game.
Yeah,
and I don't
neither
I
have
don't know
I.
what Ace Attorney from the coffee music means.
Neither have I. I'm just culturally relevant.
Yeah.
Relevant? No, culturally informed. I'm not culturally relevant. I'm just a dickhead who talks shite here. The other story then was Avowed, which you've all have seen if you've opened Battle.net, because they're like, please buy this, please. We'll have to shut down Obsidian if it doesn't get 10 million sales. Avowed.
Oh no, please.
Yeah, Obsidian's fucked. It's over. Avowed is a first-person fantasy action RPG that you can also play in third person, so it's not necessarily first person. That's old marketing copy. Interesting. But these are the guys who did Pillars of Eternity, Fallout New Vegas, Order Worlds, that kind of stuff, and all the other stuff too that I forget.
It is a fresh game from our Microsoft's latest victim.
Exactly, and it's on Battle.net because they desperately need sales
Of WoW token.
of what it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Avowed sales or avowed sales. Battle.net balance, WoW token, real money, doesn't matter. All goes in their pocket no matter what. So this calls back to the initial idea of Battle.net. It's not called Blizzard.net. They called it Battle.net because they wanted it to maybe potentially have other things that like basically be Steam before Steam was a thing.
Yeah. Oops.
Almost, yeah. Whoops.
Oops. I mean, I don't know.
No, we're in the good timeline. We're in the good timeline.
Oh no, we're in the good timeline. I just think, I know that Mike Morhaime is a very high net worth individual. However, now that I am aware of Gabe Newell's fleet of yachts, including a super yacht.
Damn.
Oh, Gabe's got a whole fleet.
I didn't know that. I'm not surprised.
He's got a fleet. He's got a support vessel for the fleet. And these are like proper, like super rich person, $300 million yachts.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised Gabe does print money like that.
And he's got an ocean research vessel. So I guess like,
oh, is he like cool James Cameron?
Yeah. I'm imagining them just rolling around the ocean trying to explore things in their fleets.
Class. Insane.
Continue.
Yeah, so what was I even talking about? Yeah, so they were good. It was Battle.net because he wanted other games on it at one point. That never came to fruition for a variety of reasons. So this is kind of it happening again, where it's this is not a Blizzard game. This is the first time a non-Activision Blizzard game is going to be on Battle.net.
Shame the Battle.net team in Austin was destroyed. Would have been useful to have that, but Microsoft cut all their jobs.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, that's not relevant. That will never be relevant to this story. Yeah. You definitely
yeah.
won't need Battle.net engineers if you maybe want to be Microsoft and maybe have a launcher in PC that's not shit. Like the Xbox launcher.
Pure fucking
and
wank.
Anything near the Windows Store.
Pure wank. Battle.net is
Smile.
fucking sick. Battle.net is really good.
It's
like
great.
Genuinely excellent.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm super happy with this, but I'm also terrified of where it'll go because I don't trust Microsoft as far as I can throw them. And you can't even throw a concept like a company.
Like, I mean, I like Steam, but BNets are way more... I mean, obviously, they're completely different scoped bits of software, so it's both apples to oranges and apples to apples. At the end of the day, why have I opened this software? To play a video game.
Yeah.
And BNet's really fast.
BNet is probably faster than Steam because it's got so limited. So as soon as they start to open it up, you're going to cause these problems, I think. But Battle.net's excellent. Steam is marginally better in a few ways as an overall thing, obviously.
Oh, imagine if BNet had reviews.
Oh, fucking right, man. Which it'll have to do if it starts to do this.
No, it doesn't.
You're right, it doesn't.
They won't do that.
Be on our platform, please.
We, the company, will do things against our interests.
Yeah, that's true. So, obviously, I pointed out there, you can just buy the game for free, around 1.5 million gold. That is your gold that you're selling to someone else, so it is not free. It is them buying the game for you, and you're giving them gold. It's not fucking free. The more we can stop saying this, even if it's reasonably accurate to your experience, it's also not, because how'd you get that gold? You earned it with your time. It's all money.
Damn, you're an investigative journalist now.
Damn, yeah.
You've cut through the narrative.
I am. I'm very good at cutting through narratives and burying leads.
Proper Game Pass integration.
Yes, that's a really thing that happened now.
Because now Game Pass PCs, like, I don't want to say now it's suddenly of worth to me, but if I could just access Game Pass PC games on BNet instead of having to fire up the Game Pass Xbox app, that would be better.
Yeah.
Because the Game Pass app blows.
Yep.
It sucks massively.
And it's improved substantially since when it was first 5 or 6 years ago that I started using it. And it's improved substantially, but we're talking like from fucking unusable to usable most of the time.
And it also has the problem, it still looks like it was designed by Microsoft.
Oh yeah, because it's part of it's designed in terms of Microsoft's UWP that they started to push with Windows 8, with their Windows phones, with the all shot in the head drastically. And then they haven't redesigned any of their anything to match Windows 11.
No.
Because that's got a different design language. Software company can't software. It's not a software company. It's a fucking outsourced labor abuse company. That's what Microsoft do.
It's an enterprise server company.
It's an enterprise server ran by outsourced engineers fucking company. That's what it is. That's all it is. And it's also a public company, which means it doesn't have to do anything. All it has to do is trade on fucking wank. All it has to do is go, what have we done this day? We've made a press release about investing in AI. That's how we make money.
Great.
Don't do anything. Why? Products? Thing of the past. Sorry. I am inflamed somewhat.
Yeah.
I'm inflamed.
Linux. Just Linux. And that's why it's sad to me that modern anti-cheat solutions generally speaking, mean no Linux.
Oh, Apex.
'Cause-
You've started such a downfall of the fucking gaming industry.
Good. I'm going to do a video on that.
I wish the camera was
I'm
on
going
my
to do a
duff when
video
he did
of
that.
How
because
EA just killed video games forever.
Because he very, very approximately did something like this. Or along that lines.
I was manifesting an idea, man.
Yeah, Matt didn't eat his eggs this morning. Yeah, I didn't eat eggs this morning. That's my problem. That's my problem. I'm eggless. No, I don't. Don't. I'm sorry. Sorry. Yeah.
Because I don't think any Windows users using Windows 11 actually would love 11 that much because
no, it's bad. Why? It's
yeah.
Unless you use Copilot and are stupid.
There's all the ways that it sucks, but also Microsoft's repeated behavior of just making it more like a piece of freeware. That's what it feels. Not freeware. I mean, it feels freemium when you're using it because it just likes to put ads everywhere.
Yeah, let me show you what it's a little bit like in order to whenever you're using Windows. It's basically this. You're like, there's my Windows. Why are things loading so slow? Oh, okay, right. Because I have full. Okay. How much of my screen is currently content? This is
what we call emotionally representative, but definitely not actually representative.
Yeah. Does this show up or is this even rendered on stream? It's not. Okay.
Who knows?
But yeah, look. This is the amount of my screen that is currently things I want to see. That's what it feels like with Windows 11.
If we because the problem then though is NVIDIA Linux drivers. I do not know what the state of those are.
I believe I know AMDs are good. Question mark. I think NVIDIAs are fine. I actually think they're generally fine.
Really?
I think graphic compatibility is generally fine over there.
Oh, okay.
They're all having a good time with Proton basically.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's like you don't need to be running DirectX
anymore.
Proton translation layer, good.
Yeah, it's all perfect. It's all perfect.
Right now, the main blocker is anti-cheat systems that are kernel level.
Yep, which only matter if you play dog shit live service multiplayer games, which you can just not. You can just choose to play good games.
I cannot play Call of Duty Black Ops 6 on
That
Linux.
sounds like a win.
It probably is in my best interest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually.
Yeah. Definitely. 100%.
I'm going to get Crossfire going.
Crossfire.
Yeah, see how that goes.
The
It's basically
the Garena Games game?
No.
It's not Garena. Who the fuck?
It's
Who the fuck
Wine.
made Crossfire?
It's Wine.
Who made Crossfire?
Wine as in Windows.
Yeah, it's the
called.
Mac. The Mac pay money for Wine because we made it slightly handier.
Yeah.
With all the bottles and stuff.
You could just do wine yourself, of course.
Yeah, but you're.
I'd rather.
What if you're?
I'd rather buy the wine and play the games.
Yeah, what if you're an idiot and it works well?
Yeah. Oh dear. Anyway, so that's kind of where things
That's
are.
us for stream today.
We will get into some hot, juicy, tasty lore next stream, which will be fun. Big picture for World of Warcraft, looking good.
Despite everything we said about Microsoft, World of Warcraft looks fucking wonderful.
Microsoft, but for everything else,
fantastic.
Big thumb up.
A crossover, not Crossfire.
That's it.
You said Crossfire, yes.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm still thinking of Xfire for some reason.
Maybe.
God, remember Xfire. Oh dear, we're all old. We're all old now.
Yeah. Good stream talking about the future of World of Warcraft and how they destroyed Warcraft 3 again. Really?
Accidentally.
Yeah.
In spite of the best efforts of the entire Warcraft RTS team. 3 people.
Yeah, we really do. You do have a little bit of a cyclic thing going on. Wrap it up, boys. My Pokemon TCG pack stamina just recovered. Uninstall that shit now. I did. I was like, this feels surprisingly like digital crack. Get out of my fucking phone. Get away to hell. I don't want to do this.
Because you need room for all the other digital crack in your phone.
Yeah, because it's not like Heaven Burns Red, just released literally today. So I get to go and see some amazing Jun Maida fucking slop writing. Oh, key visual novels and anime are good shit, man. And not in the great way, in the enjoyable way. So I can't wait to play Heaven Burns Red today. No, because of the BA event to do. Fuck.
BA, if you're not aware, is another gacha game.
Yes, Blue Archive, yes.
You have been captured.
I have been captured indeed, but it's good and it gives me content every 2 weeks, which is more than most video games.
True.
And it's actually writing. They make writing. Do you know how few video games? Do you know how few video games make writing, make story regularly? None of them. They're all like, "Here's a new map." You're like, "What? Fucking new map? Shoot people on a different map. Cool. Sure, whatever. It's not even a different map. It's the same.
It's bro wants words.
Yeah. Give me meaning, please. Give me meaning, thank you.
The only people who can afford to export meaning are gacha games.
Exactly.
Everything else is exporting doomscroll.
Yeah. As the addict justifies his addiction. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Not justify it? Am I supposed to sit here and say, well, actually, I think it's quite harmful that I have a set period of time in the day when I go and look at my phone? I think it's really a problem when I sit down and go, what great bit of fucking slice of life writing am I going to read today? How horrid. How horrible. Oh,
spoken by a man who notably has amazing gacha game luck.
Yeah, it's really good.
I think your luck, even when you played Pokemon for a bit, your luck was really good.
Yeah, I rolled a couple of secret rares. It's like, yeah, it's no big deal to me. I can just delete my account, whatever. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit.
Oh, your Great Vault's good.
Next.
Okay, good. The universe is still basically
yeah, next
balanced.
my WoW luck is generally quite bad.
Ah, dear.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's it for us. We have got a video coming out today for members, and tomorrow, once the sponsor gives me the thumb up. Plenty of things next week, and I'll have a lot of news channel content next week as well, so it should be pretty fun.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Thank you very much for watching today as we set the world to rights, as we tend to do. And before we go,
keep on accidentally doing that.
Yeah, and before we go, I do have one small message, which is
job's done.
There we go.